They were in the driver's seat for a lot of that game, and some poor play in the field kind of let Wilmington come back, and you see Wilmington win by just 2. And the rematch here, the crosstown rivals, it really writes itself here. The two best teams they meet here on Championship Saturday, and potentially 2 games here on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the 1 versus 2 seeds. You talk about what a bumpy ride it has been so far. For Wilmington, you could look at it on paper and say, hey, they're a perfect 4-0 so far here in this conference tournament. But at one point, trailed by 8 runs to Bridgeport back in the first game. Felician gave them a really good run for their money in the first round, and it was anything but easy yesterday against Goldie Beacom. So what have you seen so far from Wilmington?
The resiliency. They have a very talented roster. We're going to be talking about 7 guys with 900 or 1,000-plus OPSs. It's never an easy out. Their pitching has been phenomenal, and they have basically everyone raring and ready to go today. And that's the benefits of being the number 1 seed and taking care of business. It puts you in a really, really good position, and you get all those perks of doing your job by having your pitching lined up and having the luxury of having a mess up here today if that happens. But they've just been on their P's and Q's. You can't give this team extra outs, and all their opponents have, and they've made them pay.
Speaking of extra outs, that's something that Goldie Beacom has given up a lot of so far throughout this tournament. They've been hurt by it once in terms of the wins, losses, but they've mostly come out on top and overcome those difficulties. But we know that's going to be a key coming into this one.
Yeah, 12 total errors in their 3 games. It was 5 against Jefferson in a game that they ended up having to walk off and win eventually. It was 4 the next time out against Wilmington here. A game, like I said, they had it kind of pretty blocked up. They had a nice little lead for a while coming towards the late innings and just, again, kind of booted the ball around and let Wilmington get going. And then also had 3 yesterday, their second game as well. They did throw up 20 runs, and that helps mitigate that. But 12 total errors, 6 of which have came from the 2 shortstops that we've seen, Sean Roy and Hector Neris, or Jamie Neris, the Astros reliever, will not be playing today. But Jamie Neris will be getting the start at shortstop like he did the last game and the first game, so we'll see if that's something that gets cleaned up.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a fun ride so far here in Waterbury through the last couple of rounds of this conference tournament. And last note on Jefferson as well, you talked about the resiliency for Wilmington. Talk about the resiliency, sorry, not for Jefferson, for Goldie Beacom, rather. When they played Jefferson, they were down by 4 runs at one point, and that was all the way in the 8th inning. They found a way to come back in that one. So despite the errors, as you said, just finding a way to overcome these difficulties is pretty impressive nevertheless.
Yeah, the number 2 team for a reason, and they really went on the backs of Corey Williams and Connor Blentz, who had some weird lines at the end of the day, but they came through and pitched the way that we expected them to pitch, which was pretty good at the end of the day. And they kind of keep themselves in the game toward the late innings. The bats have obviously come alive. I've had guys like Roman Keith who just couldn't get out yesterday.
No kidding.
Zach Smethers is driving in runs all over the place. Jake Macy, 1,000-plus OPS. Joey Current, who maybe doesn't have the flashiest numbers, but it seems to just have clutch hit after clutch hit. Barmer, obviously, the clutchest hit of them all, and they've really let their lineup play.
It's going to be a fun championship round here in Waterbury. We're going to take a quick break for the national anthem. We'll come back with lineup, starting pitchers, and, of course, the first pitch as you're watching the CACC Network. back in here in Waterbury as we're just moments away from first pitch of the championship rounds of the CACC tournament. Think of it as a 3-game series here, and Wilmington is up 1-0. They only need one win to secure the championship. Meanwhile, Goldie Beacom needs 2. They'll be the visitors today, so let's meet their lineup. Leading them off, it'll be Caden Barmer in right field. Bobby Stewart, who has had one heck of a tournament, he's at second base playing second. Jamie Neris Jr. batting third at short. Roman Keith in the cleanup spot in left field. Zach Smethers is their designated hitter. He's batting fifth. Following him, it's Jake Macy, the first baseman. Brent Williams is in the seventh spot. He's at third base. Joey Current behind the plate, batting eighth. And rounding out the lineup today, for Goldie Beacom, it'll be Trey Mason in center field.
Offensively for the Wildcats from left to right, it's going to be Brian Klump, Cam Trago, and Zach Frame, a couple of all-conference members in that outfield. Stephen Ketch is going to get the start at third base with Garrett Quinn, and the start at short. Justin Hernandez removed from the game yesterday, and looks like he will not be starting at least. Player of the year, Tyler Perrin, is going to be at second base, and everyone's favorite first baseman-pitcher hybrid, Chase Fleming, will be at first base, and you can't forget all-conference first-team catcher Brett Walmsley doing the catching.
Yeah, an all-conference battery crew here between Brett Walmsley and Dylan Potero on the mound. The 5'10", 180-pound freshman making first-team all-conference honors this year, throwing out of that left hand as a southpaw. And here's why. Some really good numbers. 16 appearances, 8 starts. This will be his 9th, a 2.78 ERA. Borderline unheard of in the CACC. 45.1 innings of work. He's thrown 20 walks, but 46 strikeouts. Really good numbers, and opponents are only batting a touch over 208 over him.
It's only gone into the fifth inning a handful of times last time out in their second win against Bridgeport. He got 4 innings. But the one thing that kind of struck my eye, 4 runs in 1 inning against Goldie Beacom on the 28th of April towards the end of the season. We'll see if the Lightning Bats are excited to face off against Potero.
Crosstown rivalries only 18 minutes apart back in Wilmington, Delaware. Meeting here in Waterbury, Connecticut, playing for the CACC Conference Tournament Championship. Potero is ready. Barmer is ready. He's more than ready. He swings at the first pitch and drives it deep out into right field at the warning track, and it just hangs up there as Zach Frame gets taken back to the wall with his back against it. Makes the first out of this game. Boy, that is a loud out number one to start this off.
Yeah, and it rings for everybody. I think even though not a base runner on your first at-bat, I think that gets the boys fired up.
Oh, yeah.
If you're Goldie Beacom, we had doing our interview, I kind of heard them after saying that they're ready for this. They were waiting for these guys. You can't assume the crosstown rivals are rivals, but they really are excited to go against Wilmington.
We'll give you this much. The championship, or the champion of this year's conference tournament, will be from Wilmington. Right now, this is Bobby Stewart, who has had one heck of a tournament stepping up to the plate. Fouls that one off, but he's quickly behind 0-2. Give you the season numbers on Bobby Stewart quickly. A .291 hitter coming into this game with an .813 OPS. 4th most doubles in the conference with 16 of them. Also got 3 homers and 41 RBIs. That one just a bit outside.
First 3 pitches, 3 swings, and obviously Goldie Beacom knows they want to set the tone here.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to let anything kind of settle in. They know they need to jump on Wilmington early and often and trying to get ahead here. But, yeah, tough pitch on that one.
They're not going to get cheated. 1-2 offering a breaking ball that misses off the outside corner. I wonder how Dylan Potero settles in. Young kid, freshman, made first-team all-conference honors this season. That's a loud out number one, and this is a tough lineup here. But that's a nice bounce back right there as he gets the swing and the miss to a possible conference tournament MVP contender for out number 2.
Yeah, an incredible change up there. Kind of had some kick to it, kind of that modern circle change, kick change that a lot of kids are throwing nowadays, and just broke outside, and Stewart no chance.
So it's going to be up to Jamie Neris Jr. to try to keep this inning alive for Goldie Beacom. Quick couple of outs for the Lightning to start this game off. First offering in, breaking ball, finds the outside corner. Boy, that is a really good pitch number 1 in A at bat. Neris, a .319 hitter and a 1,051 OPS and a .600 slugging percentage. Takes a big hack there, quickly behind 0-2. Three games this tournament for Neris. He's 3 for 12 coming into this one.
You have to have that big hit that we've been speculating he could have.
Look, he bats third in the lineup for a reason. He's got a 600 OPS, tied for the 8th most home runs in the conference this year, so you know he's got the ability. No better time than the present in the championship rounds. 1-2 misses off the outside corner, and so he's working himself back even in this count.
Yeah, everyone's going to have to adjust. I don't think often they have 9 a.m. starts here.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have a 10 a.m. down in Florida when they're down there, but very seldom they go this early.
Expecting a good amount of rain later in Waterbury, so in case we need to play 2, trying to beat that rain. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a cold, windy day, kind of gray day as well. Give you the weather in the next half inning because this is a 3-2 pitch. A little blooper into shallow right field. It might find some grass, but it just lands foul. So we'll do the payoff pitch one more time.
I've been pretty blessed with some really good weather. It hasn't been too extremely hot, but it's been a little windy, but pretty much no clouds in the sky. I had a small little rain cloud come overhead to begin Game 2 yesterday that stayed for about 5 minutes or so. But other than that, it's been pretty great. Again, shout out the grounds crew keeping this field good to go for today.
Oh, yeah. Another payoff pitch. And another foul ball down the right field line. So how about this for Potero? In the first 2 batters he faced, 5 pitches thrown. Here to Jamie Neris Jr. This will be pitch number 8 in this at-bat coming up.
Yeah, making it work. Obviously, we know Neris is going to stay aggressive, but he can draw his walks too.
And just like that, he gets on base. First base runner today for Goldie Beacom. And he'll move things over, passing the baton over to Roman Keith, who, what a day Roman Keith had yesterday. In Game 2 against Felician, had himself 4 ABs, went 4 for 4, a double, a triple, also walked a couple of times, scored 5 runs, and picked up 2 RBIs.
Yeah, 6 total runs if you include one he scored against Wilmington yesterday. He's just been an on-base machine.
Takes ball 1 upstairs, 1-0. That's been the approach for Roman Keith. Just wait for your pitch, it feels like, and he's done a good job at it. We're going to have a mound visit here, it looks like. Really interesting as Dylan Potero got the first 2 outs of this inning quickly. Gave up a little bit of a battle here, and the whole infield coming in.
Yeah, definitely can't, it's do or die time here. I mean, Wilmington does have the ability to lose one, but they would rather not, I'd assume.
Yeah, no,
and
of course.
You want to, every at-bat is super crucial, especially the guy who is swinging probably as hot a stick as anyone in the tournament that's left at least, and you definitely don't want to make a mistake, especially with the lefty-righty matchup in the favor of the hitter.
Again, a true freshman playing in the championship rounds, first inning of work. Check over on Neris on first. Maybe just some words of courage to try to calm him down a little bit, which I respect and happen to love, especially if a pitching coach knows his pitcher really well. It's going to be a 1-0 count here to Keith. Make it 2 balls and no strikes.
You get the loud fly out to begin the game. Stewart jumping on your pitches and fouling them back. You do get the strikeout there for some confidence, but then a real big battle with Neris, and now you're falling behind on Keith. You kind of reset, settle back in. And a guy who hasn't gone terribly long in most starts, like I said, only into the 6th inning twice this year.
It's a nice bounce-back pitch on 2-0. Looked like a breaking ball, maybe a changeup that just found the bottom of the strike zone there. Got to have a lot of confidence in that pitch to throw it in a 2-0 count. 2 balls, 1 strike, runner on first. Here in the top of the first, 2 outs. That one's lifted high in the air, fairly deep into right field. Ranging over there is Zach Frame, but he's going to run out of room and it'll drop foul. So the count goes to 2-2.
It's a good spot for the changeup, I think. It's been his best pitch so far. He got the swing and a miss on Stewart in the other batter's box. See if he can bury it down and away and get Keith to chase it.
Tend to agree with you. That changeup has looked nasty to a couple of batters here. I mean, that's the pitch you got Bobby Stewart on as well. Lefty on righty matchup. 2-2 count. 2 outs. They are worried about Jamie Naris Jr. over there on first base. Rightfully so. He's got 17 stolen bases this year. The 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. He did go to the changeup. Picks up his second strikeout of the game. And a pretty clean first inning for the freshman Dylan Potero. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. Wilmington coming up to bat here in Waterbury. Back in at the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference Tournament Championship rounds in Waterbury. And we enter the bottom of the first, so let's give you the lineup for the number 1 seed, Wilmington Wildcats today. Leading them off, it'll be D'Angelo Ponce, the DH. Player of the year, Tyler Perrung follows him at second base. Brian Klump, another player who's had a great tournament in left field, batting third. Chase Fleming in the cleanup spot. He's at first. Following him, it's Brett Walmsley, the catcher. Cam Trago bats 6th. He's in center. Zach Frame 7th in right field. Stephen Catch is in the 8th spot. He's at third base. And rounding out the lineup for Wilmington, it's the shortstop, Garrett Quinn.
Defensively, we got Keith Mason Barmer. You're going to make out your outfield. Some mixed play out there. Mason has made some really good plays. Keith had some trouble in the field yesterday. Then Williams, Naris, that big spot we're looking at, see if he can make some big plays at shortstop. Bobby Stewart at second base, who's been very athletic and smart with the baseball. And Macy at first with Joey Current. We've seen him have some good defense, and he has a strong arm behind the dish.
Yeah, good defense for Current, some clutch hitting for Current. He's going to try to call a good game with his battery mate, Kevin Dillon, on the mound. The 6'2", 220-pound right-handed senior throws his first pitch. It's a good-looking breaking ball in the outside corner to Ponce for a strike.
We saw him against Jefferson in that first game. He was the first man out of the bullpen, threw 31 pitches over an inning and 2/3. Give up 2 runs on 2 walks, but none of them earned. Kind of a theme.
Slow grounder to the left side, charging in the shortstop Naris. The throw on the run. Nice play by Jamie Naris Jr. And we know shortstop's been a bit of a tricky situation here in this conference tournament, so good start for him.
A really good start. That's big. It's not an easy play to make, and so to kind of have that hard one and get out of the way early, sometimes it's the easy ones that kind of give guys trouble like that, especially an athlete of Naris's stature. So maybe getting an athletic play out of the way kind of slows it down for him and knows that he can do all things.
So in steps Tyler Perrung. What a season, what a tournament he is having. Takes a big hack and misses at the first pitch. Before we get into his stats, let's tell you about Kevin Dillon, making his first start in the last 2 years for Dillon, a 5.82 ERA.
Yeah, he's a bullpen guy. And we saw him come out of the bullpen 2 days ago, and it seems like it's going to be a bullpen-type game. We were looking through the stats of all 5 players that have made a start this year for Goldie Beacom. They've all been used. We got Blentz that went in game 1, 117 pitches. He's probably done. Williams, 100 yesterday. He's most likely done. Obviously, it's the last day of the season here in the conference, so you might kind of roll these guys out, but both of these teams have NCAA aspirations.
The 0-2 offering. 1 hop ground ball through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Nicely placed by Tyler Perrung, coming off another just great game for the Conference Player of the Year, and he starts this one off well as well.
Keeps hitting. He just lives on first base at least, and he's a guy that can easily take second base, as we've mentioned and alluded to before plenty of times over the course of our several broadcasts over this extended weekend. And again, especially early, you've seen that Goldie Beacom wants to set the tone with their offense. See if Wilmington wants to follow suit.
Perrong had 3 hits in yesterday's game against Goldie Beacom. Already has 1 today. Another player who has just torn the cover off the baseball throughout this tournament is Brian Klump.
Had a couple doubles, I believe his first game of the tournament.
Yeah, so far in this tournament, he's batting .400 in 4 games. Runner takes off, the pitch downstairs, the throw down to second base. One hops in, but not in time. Perrong got a good jump, and the throw just a little too low on the one-hopper.
Yeah, it's on target. We see he has the good arm, and not a terrible throw, but I think, obviously, like you said, the hop kind of took a little bit off it. And Perrong, we know how well he can run the bases.
Yeah, for Perrong, called his 39th stolen base of the year, just 1 behind the conference leader, Stewart, who's on the other side of the diamond.
Stewart had, I believe, has 3 stolen bases on that tournament, so actually Perrong came in to the tournament the conference leader, and Stewart has swiped 40 for 40.
40 for 40.
Yeah, he is.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy talk.
Klump has to protect here. It's a 1-2 count with 1 away. Runner on second base. Takes upstairs, 2-2. So Brian Klump this year, a .340 hitter with a .925 OPS, but in 4 games in this conference tournament, he's 6 for 15, 8 runs scored, 4 RBIs, not to mention 2 doubles and a homer to mix in there. 2-2. Good-looking breaking ball. Just left a little bit upstairs, and it runs full.
Yeah, I think between Perrong, Fleming, Walmsley, even Trago, Klump kind of gets lost in there, but he's been the 3-hole hitter for a reason and has shown plenty capable and has done so all season long.
Fouls that one off, so we'll have another payoff pitch coming up. He lost his 15-game hit streak last game out, but he still has a 16-game on-base streak intact. So just to follow up your point, consistency is key, and he's been the definition of that.
A guy that can come through and produce here early for Wilmington and get them on the board with a well-placed base hit. A lot of speed at second base, as we've already seen.
For the payoff pitch, quick check on Perrong on second, which I've already talked about it, but second most steals in the conference. Certainly have to keep an eye on him, even if he's on second base. It's Chase Fleming on deck. You don't want to put another on for him. So once again, a payoff pitch. Hard line drive into right center field. Ranging back is Caden Barmer. He's not going to get there. This should be extra bases. Rounding third and coming home to score easily is Tyler Perrong. Heading into third is Brian Klump. Here comes the throw. It's not even close. Called an RBI triple for the 3-hole hitter Klump, and it's a 1-0 Wilmington lead.
That fastball just bled over the plate, and he jumped all over it, stung that one into the corner, able to round all the way, motor to third base, and a big RBI for Klump, who is making a pretty good case for a tournament MVP.
Yeah, there's a few names you can mix in there. This guy right here in the batter's box is one of them, Chase Fleming, who's doing it on both sides of the diamond. He swings at the first pitch, soft chopper over to the shortstop. This will score a run. Neris, throw to first. Nicely scooped out of the dirt by Jake Macy for the second out of the inning. But as aforementioned, it's now a 2-0 game.
And Fleming as a first baseman, he can run, he can move. He has almost 20 stolen bases.
Oh, yeah.
He had a triple yesterday as his first game with the bat in his hands, and he does not make those plays easy for shortstops, especially one that's been having some issues.
Municipal Stadium is a doubles and triples ballpark. Despite not being the largest dimensionally, it certainly plays that way. We've seen that be the case so far in this tournament. Brett Walmsley up to the plate. Boy, this lineup just is relentless. It doesn't get any easier with the batting average leader, especially as a catcher stepping into the plate. And quickly he's ahead 2-0 now. Walmsley this season, a .425 average, a 1.192 OPS. He's top 5 in average, on-base percentage, and slugging. And it's a hard ground ball, nicely picked by Jamie Neris at short, and nicely scooped by Jake Macy at first. A good play on both ends to end this first inning, but not before. Wilmington scratches across a couple of runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. It's a 2-0 Wildcat lead heading to the second. One inning in the books to start off our championship rounds. It's a 2-0 Wilmington lead. Goldie Beacom coming back up to bat, and Dylan Potero gave up the walk, but otherwise clean inning back in the top of the first.
19 pitches for Potero, a guy that hasn't gone incredibly long, and it's a day where you have all your bullets. You have to pull the plug early on Potero. I think you're still in a pretty good spot. Obviously, you're going to try to get as much length from the freshman as you can. But there's something to keep him on to monitor. And the running joke of this tournament, that pitch count hasn't seemed to be an actual real thing here in the tournament, but something to keep an eye out for.
Couple of inside pitches early into Zach Smethers. Smethers, the DH today, a .287 hitter, but carrying an 8-game hitting streak into this final round. Another player just having a fantastic tournament, especially for him. It's been really needed for Goldie Beacom. He's come up clutch more than a couple of times.
He's just done his job. I mean, a lot of RBI singles, sacrifice flies a couple of times, and he's come up on opportunities and delivered.
5 games in this tournament for Smethers. He's 10 for 21. It's a .476 batting average. 5 runs, and as you mentioned, Cody, 9 ribbies on his ledger.
It's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Nice 3-1 pitch that time from Potero. You could see Smethers kind of jutted out of the way of it. That ball just came right back onto the inside corner.
Yeah, some arm side action. A lot of lefties have a little bite to their fastballs.
Payoff pitch. Ooh, a good take by Zach Smethers. A professional take by Smethers, you could say, because that was really, really close. And it's a leadoff walk for Goldie Beacom.
Yeah, see the home plate umpire saying Walmsley tried to frame it, and it was low. And I think everyone wearing black today that aren't the umpires had some shoulder shrugs to that reaction.
Yeah, you could more than likely hear the dugout on the broadcast there. I know, Cody, you and I definitely could. Mm-hmm. So it brings up Jake Macy. First pitch swinging for Macy, pops it up. Shallow right center field. Trago comes in, but it's actually the right fielder, Zach Frame, who makes the catch. And that's a quick first out and nice bounce back after the leadoff walk.
It definitely needed that. And again, we've seen Potero, especially after the first 2 batters, have a lot of those at-bats lingers, those plate appearances linger. So to get a 1-pitch out, really reset things and kind of cut that inning total or the pitch total into a little bit better pace is real nice.
Moves things over to Brent Williams. Playing the hot corner today, got the lefty-righty matchup in his favor. He takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Williams this year, a .286 hitter, at .799 OPS. He's gotten 5 multi-hit games in his last 8 appearances.
Introduced the slider here. The last couple of batters got that on Keith to strike him out and uses it to get ahead 0-2.
That is a good-looking. Hard to tell if it's a sinker or a changeup from this angle. It's not the hardest thrown fastball if it is a sinker, but it's got a lot of arm side run on it. And it just jutted out of the strike zone that time around, but it's a really good 0-2 pitch. This time it's lined in the left field. It's going to be a base hit, and it could be extra bases. Cutting it off quickly is Brian Klump. Here comes the throw into third base. It's not going to be in time. The first hit of the game is a double off the bat of Brent Williams. And just like that, Goldie Beacom is in business. 2 in scoring position, only 1 gone.
Yeah, it looks like the changeup has a similar profile to the sinker or 2-seamer that we have seen as well. That one just fluttered over the plate. You see he's been working well when it's low and away from the right-handed hitters. That one just over the plate, and that's just batting practice for most hitters at this level.
It's a good sign for Goldie Beacom because Brent Williams over his last 8 games, it's either been multi-hit or over. So it's a good start for him. And you know that the Lightning are hoping it's a multi-hit game. There's a hard swing, but a foul ball off the bat of Joey Current to start off his at-bat.
Yeah, not many home runs this weekend. I think we've had 4 in 5 games or 5 in 5 games. He has one of them, and it was not a cheapie as well into left center field.
.255 average coming into this one, an .839 OPS. He skies one. Behind the plate, ranging back is Walmsley, and he runs out of room. Actually goes back just in front of the press box here, in between the fence area. Count quickly goes to 0-2.
Trick shot to get in between that.
Yeah, no
that
kidding.
Space.
Couldn't do that again if you tried.
Yeah, and we've seen those plays be tough on catchers. It's a tougher play than just a regular pop-up on the infield. We'll give them credit there. We've seen a couple of them, or at least one of them, get dropped and kind of continue an inning. So, not the easiest play for a really good defensive catcher.
0-2 swing and a miss. A huge strikeout for Dylan Potero out on the mound. It doesn't get much bigger than that because now you need a base hit to score that run.
And no question about that. That was the Heat. And they went up high, challenged Current, and Current lost that battle. Elevate and celebrate, as they like to say.
So in steps Trey Mason. Tall, 6'5", 175-pound righty out of Germantown, Maryland. Takes strike one off the outside corner. Mason, a .235 hitter this year. He's got roughly the same tournament stats as his season stats. But he's played a spectacular center field for Goldie Beacom, made a couple of star plays. It's a high pop-up, but shallow left field. Going to be tough for Klump. He makes a nice running catch, having to go full sprint, a good 20 to 30 feet in from left field. But that secures the final out of this inning. Goldie Beacom threatens, but have nothing to show for it and strand a couple of runners as we move to the bottom of the second. Yeah, that's a huge job getting out of it. How are you? Two 2-0 Wilmington lead as we enter the bottom of the second inning as they look to add on to that, starting with Cam Trago, and it'll be followed by Zach Frame and Steven Katch here in the bottom of the second. Still Kevin Dillon out there on the mound. We wonder how long the leash is going to be for him. Already 2 runs on his ledger. A relief pitcher for the entire year, making his first start, at least in the last 2 years, and if I'm not mistaken, in his D2 career. First pitch swinging for Trago, soft grounder, easily handled by Stewart, and that's a quick first out of the inning.
Yeah, it's definitely needed. Again, we're kind of looking at who was pitched as we have our, hashtag crudely made pitching board. We talked about Blentz, Williams, and Starr, probably all 3 starters. Nate Miller went in Game 1 and Game 2. He's thrown over 60 pitches. Leach and Davis yesterday got some bulk innings of work, and they were between 40 and 60 pitches between 2 of those guys. So not many options to go to, and if you do, they're going to be tired.
Certainly going to be an interesting puzzle to try to solve for Tom Riley in his 9th year as head coach of the Lightning. Zach Frame in a good count here, 2-0, going against Kevin Dillon. Checks the swing that time, but the home plate umpire says he went around, so it's going to move to a 2-1 count. Frame this year, a .348 hitter, .984 OPS, 15 doubles, 4 triples, and 1 bomb for 27 ribbies. Line drive to the left side. It gets just past the outstretched glove of Brent Williams, the third baseman. And that's a base hit for Zach Frame. How about that? The infield was shifted pretty massively over to the right side, and he went the other way with it.
And I don't think he went the other way on purpose. I think he was so far ahead, it kind of hit the end of the bat and just kind of cue-shotted it that way. I think that was a great pitch and execute there. It just didn't work out and ended up getting, launched into left field right past Williams. And just so far ahead of it, it actually works out in his favor going the other way.
One of the late, great John Sterling isms. That's baseball, Susan. I mean, didn't really hit it particularly hard, but put it in the right spot. Runner takes off on the first pitch. Here comes the throw down to second base, and it actually hits the runner, and that prevented it from going into center field. Zach Frame gets a stolen base, but he looks pretty hurt over there on second. Hopefully he's all right.
That's the one throw we've seen from Current that's been a little bit offline, and Naris didn't even just kind of let it go. If that doesn't hit Frame, that's into center field, and I guess in honor of the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out, Current's going for flawless victories.
So they're going to check on Zach Frame, who's currently seated over on second base. We'll take a quick break here in the press box. It's a 2-0 Wilmington lead in Waterbury. Good to see Zach Frame standing up, staying on second base, and staying in this game. He's had a really good season, and although it's only a .250 average in this tournament, still 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored for him, so he's been a really productive piece for Wilmington. You can pretty much say that about the entire lineup as well.
Yeah, he's made the most of opportunities, and Stephen Katz trying to make the most of his opportunities. Came in yesterday as the defensive replacement, and he was going to get the start here today at the hot corner.
So Catch, a .315 hitter. Pretty good piece to have typically on your bench, and certainly trust him in a championship game like this. Swings and misses at that one. Runner on second with 1 out. Bottom of the second, 2-0 Wilmington lead.
Yeah, .315 in his at-bats, and he's played a decent amount. Does have 18 runs piled up. 12 strikeouts, though, which is the one glaring thing about him.
Went 1 for 3 as the defensive replacement yesterday. Scored a run. Looked like a slider out of the hands of Kevin Dillon there. Just missed off the outside corner. Runs it to a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, if it missed, it didn't miss by much. It's a really good take by Catch. It just makes you feel like he was sitting dead red, and anything that wasn't going to be there wasn't going to be his pitch.
Not a bad approach, especially in high-leverage games like this. That time you could tell he was just a bit late on the fastball, maybe expecting another slider. Evens up the count, 2-2.
He's got to choke up a bit, which you've seen all these hitters in this tournament do, and
try
to make the contact. I know that's kind of a touchy subject now. I think a lot of people just want you give your A swing each time, but we've seen a lot of choke ups.
2-2 pitch. Hard ground ball to the left side. Almost snagged on the backhand by Naris, but it just gets by him into left field. Rounding third and coming home to score easily is Zach Frame. Called an RBI single for Stephen Catch, and it's now a 3-0 Wilmington lead.
Another time that the athleticism of the Wildcats has got him in the scoring position. Purring had the stolen base in the first. Obviously, the triple kind of minute step, but right there, that's not a run if second base isn't occupied by Frame on the stolen base.
Yep.
So using the athleticism, both of these teams like to run and using it to their advantage here early on.
How about just the way that Jamie Naris has been tested over at shortstop in this game? I mean, we've had 5 ground balls in this game, and 4 of them have gone over to Naris' way.
Yeah, we've harped on it. So you need that position to be better defensively, and so far, I mean, that's a tough
He's
play.
He's been good. No, you can't
not
make
an
that
error.
one.
So he's been fine. He's been good.
Squaring around is the 9-hole hitter Garrett Quinn, doing his job nicely with the sacrifice 1-3. Moving up to second is Catch on the play. And no, there's almost no chance that Neris was making that play with how hard it was hit, and one hopper that basically lands at, a little bit to the right of your feet. But he's been nice to start off this game.
He has been good. Now he's got to wake up the bats now. And we have seen that no lead has been safe. I mean, we were in a 20-12 game yesterday, and even then we were kind of side-eyeing all the pitchers and hitters and seeing if this thing was going to go awry again.
First pitch swinging for D'Angelo Ponce, and he lines it into right field for a hit. Rounding third is Steven Catch. Throw comes into second. It's now a 4-0 Wilmington lead as Ponce comes through.
Yeah, I know that Goldie Beacom running out of options, but Dillon doesn't have it right now. And going through that second time, it's going to get even more scary than the first time went through, and already is looking like a Stephen King novel how scary it's been for Dillon.
That's a scary lineup when you're talking about Wilmington. And as we've said already a couple of times throughout this game, it's not getting easier. Tyler Perrung back up to the plate for the second time. He's 1 for 1, singled, stole a base, scored.
Just imagine how different this could be for Goldie Beacom if they had taken care of business in Game 1. Again, had a nice lead against Wilmington, and it could be them with the rested pitching and the time off to really take a breather, especially after the long day one.
And a one-game cushion, not to mention as well. I mean, you wonder what the pressure difference is like and how much freer and easier Wilmington might be playing. Of course, we're not on the field. We never know, but certainly a possibility.
Now, you probably have Starr, Leach, Davis in your back pocket. Those three have been some of your better pitchers, at least after the Blentz-Williams pairing.
Do expect both teams to really unload the bullpen today, let their starters go if they're having good games. Lay it all down on the line here in Waterbury. Ponce on first, 2 outs, bottom of the second inning, 4-0 Wilmington lead. It's about the third or fourth time they've checked on Ponce, and rightfully so. 19 for 21 this year in stolen base attempts.
This game's not over by any stretch of imagination. No. I mean, we've had more rides in these games than Six Flags has to offer. It's really been up and down, twisty-turvy. Every single game has had some wrinkle to it that you didn't really expect to see coming.
We have seen 5-run comebacks, 6-run comebacks. We have seen pitch-outs and balks. We have seen popped-up bunts and perfectly placed bunts. We have seen just a little bit of everything in this tournament. We have seen a walk-off home run. We have seen heartbreak.
We saw a wild pitch almost score 2 runs. I mean, it's been a treat for sure. Definitely for all your baseball fans out here. This has been the tournament to watch.
Runner goes 2-2 pitch off the outside corner. Throw down to second base. Got him. What a throw by Joey Curran. Had to adjust to the outside pitch and still tossed a dime over to second base to end the inning. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. It's a 4-0 Wilmington lead.
That's a good shoot.
Yeah, that's a great toss.
Some D2 school in Texas won a conference tournament game getting no hit.
Oh, what? What?
No hit and won 3-2.
Oh, my God.
So that's the only thing we haven't yet to see. Angelo State was the name of the team.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
That's nice.
We've never seen anything like that.
It was like they had a walk and then 3 errors on the pitcher to score a run. And did it the same exact sequence again to go up 2-0. The other team hit a game-tying homer in the 9th. And it was a walk, stolen base, sack bunt, sacrifice fly to win the game with no hits.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
So crazy.
That is
unbelievable, huh?
That is crazy. Top of the third, top of the order, due up for Goldie Beacom, Barber, Stewart, and Neris Jr. Looking to make up a 4-run deficit as we look to finish off the first third of this game. Cody Shalafu to my right, Max Stapleton taking you through this championship round action. Wilmington with an opportunity to win it in this one. Potero's looked good so far. Be interesting to see how Goldie Beacom adjusts second time through the order, and already Caden Barmer, who gave it a ride in his first at-bat, and a good count here.
Wilmington is a team that can make it get late early against you if you let them keep piling on. Already 4-0, and you've had some hard contact and against Potero, made him throw a bit.
Nice job getting back in the count here from Potero, and it's now 2-2. Wilmington's certainly the more rested team coming into this game. They've only played 4 games in the tournament compared to Goldie Beacom's 5, and they didn't have to play that marathon 20-13 game yesterday.
A game that went about 4 hours and could have easily gone even longer than that, and was a fun one to be a part of, and just fireworks. It was like 11-8 in the third inning.
Hard ground ball to the right side. Oh, booted by the first baseman, Fleming. It goes off his body. That's going to be an E3 and allows the speedy Caden Barmer to reach.
And we talked about the defense of Goldie Beacom, and actually Wilmington came in with a worse defense, I believe, by fielding percentage coming in, and really haven't seen that kind of come into play. I think they had 1 or 2 here earlier. We had a 9.45 fielding percentage. Goldie Beacom not too better at 9.46, but 98 errors. We haven't really seen that really come into play because they just kind of handled business and obviously have played a lot less innings, but they make the first mistake here. See if Goldie Beacom can capitalize.
Bobby Stewart going to be the man to try to capitalize, at least the first attempt to. Struck out swinging on a really nasty changeup by Dylan Potero. I still remember it 2 innings later, so that tells you how good of a pitch it was. And talking about fielding percentage, which, some say it's outdated. I happen to like the stat. I think, it's never easy. I think it's underrated stat, but yeah, it's pretty much the one flaw in both of these teams, 11th and 10th in the conference, respectively, for Wilmington and Goldie Beacom.
Usually can be a very big Achilles heel, especially this time of year.
Hard hit on a 2-0 count. It's going to get deposited into left field for a base hit. Rounding second, going for third is Barmer, and he'll get there standing up. So call it runners on the corners here for Goldie Beacom, and now they're threatening for the second time in this game.
We've already seen for the second or third time that those balls are dying in the outfield. There was some rain last night, and it's very wet and soggy, so those balls are kind of dying as soon as it gets into the grass.
Already the second mound visit of this game for Dylan Potero, who's only given up 2 base hits, has walked a couple of batters, but the first runner of this inning was supposed to be out number 1, but ended up being an E3 for him. So, again, I would be surprised if they took him out of this game, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah, again, like we mentioned before, they do have all their bullets to go. I mean, pretty much 1 or 2 pitchers down for today, most likely, and even then they could still be used. But you have all your weapons pretty much in the bullpen. If you think that, hey, we can get out of this game and just play the one, obviously they're looking for it, a 4-run lead. You don't have to be so reactionary, but we haven't really seen go to the bullpen this early yet in this tournament. I think the earliest we've seen is the 3rd inning, which was on with both number 3 starters haven't pitched in a couple of weeks.
And I do believe that was the head manager, Brian August, going out there to have some words with Dylan Potero. So,
yeah, not often you see him return without the pitcher next to him.
So Potero stays out there, and again, don't see any reason to really take him out. Pitch count in good shape, running into a bit of trouble, so maybe it's just some words of wisdom, which again, for a young kid, always appreciated. First and third, nobody gone. A bunch of checks on Bobby Stewart. Again, the conference leader, a perfect 40 for 40 in stolen bases this year.
Again, the shift, you have 3 infielders to the left side of the second base bag. You have basically 2 left fielders out there and a lot of green in right center field.
First pitch to Neris Jr. gets fouled back into the backstop, and it goes to 0-1. Naris put up a great at-bat his first time around. It was 8 pitches, and he ended up working the walk.
Got hit by a couple pitches yesterday as well. So he's been on base, like we talked about. Doesn't really have that big hit yet. I think, you said 3 for 12 over this course of since he's come to Waterbury. So
3 runs scored, 3 RBIs, and hey, 3 for 12 with those numbers is nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure. But you just compare it to his typical .319 batting average over the course of the season, you think you can get a little more out of Naris Jr., and hopefully that'll happen today.
Came in a tournament a little bit over .330 with the batting average.
Whew.
You have seen it take a little bit of a dip.
The 0-1. A little protection swing that time. I don't think Naris was expecting that breaking ball to break as much as it did, and it goes to 0-2. To be fair, I don't think I was expecting that breaking ball to break as much as it did.
One of those MLB The Show swings. You're
Yeah.
like, it's a slider on top of the zone. I should probably swing at this. And you end up way late. Yeah, one of those where not expecting the breaker to be up that high, and that's obviously a crush pitch if you're able to get onto it early enough.
0-2. Discipline take that time, 1-2.
That's a real good take.
Batting third for a reason. Only a sophomore. It's easy to forget how young this Goldie Beacom team is. I mean, you talk about Caden Barmer, the tournament he's had. He's a freshman.
And I think we talked about other players in the field who have played a lot of the year, at least in the starting position player group. Current, the only senior listed of those who have gotten the top 18 at-bat getters. And the pitching side of things, you
get another year out of Bobby Stewart potentially as well for Goldie Beacom. I mean, this is a real bright future for this Lightning team. They're trying to make it a bright present right now. There's a high drive deep into center field. Going to hang up there long enough for Trago, but this should score a run. Tagging up from third is Barmer. Staying put at first is Stewart. The leadoff man touches home, so call it a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Jamie Naris Jr. The Lightning are on the board.
You needed that, and you're able to capitalize officially on the error, and, the only way to get 4 runs is to get that first one first. So just getting on the board and chipping away. We've seen teams kind of stay in it.
Still in a good spot here are the Lightning. Runner on first. Now 1 man gone. One of the hottest hitters throughout this tournament, Roman Keith, stepping up to the plate. A .500 batting average through 5 games of this tourney. He hits it hard, but shallow, high in the air, left field, foul territory, and Brian Klump makes the catch in foul ground for out number 2.
And you get that way. I think we talk about the shift negatively, and we only talk about, when a ground ball goes through the right side, why would you shift there? That's an out. That's not an out if they're not shifted closer to the line for both Keith and Naris. And even then, the Naris play earlier is a little bit trickier because it's in the gap instead of right at the center fielder who was playing in the gap. So that's one of those times where the shift is effective and works to the defense's advantage.
Brings up Zach Smethers now for Goldie Beacom, trying to keep this inning alive. Smethers, no official ABs, worked to walk his last time out. That led off the second inning. Way out in front of that breaking ball there, 1-1. We mentioned it, Smethers carries an 8-game hitting streak into this one. He was 0 for his last 10 prior to that hitting streak, so it's been a season of up and down, and right now maybe the highest up of the year. Setting .476 throughout this tournament. On the season, he's a .287 hitter.
Yeah, great time to get hot like this, and we've seen him be vaulted into the lineup and now sits in the 5 spot, over a guy who over the course of the season has an OPS over 1,000 in Jake Macy, and that's just how confident they are in Smethers and how he's produced.
Yeah, it was interesting to not see Macy play all 5 games for Goldie Beacom because the man on deck is a second-team all-conference selection, but this is a deep, deep Lightning roster. And I don't mind the idea of trying to play the hottest hitters in a moment like this. And how about the at-bat from Smethers yet again, his second straight full count he's worked into.
Yeah, it was behind 1-2 and a couple of breaking balls that just didn't do much of anything and stayed well outside. We'll see where Patero goes here. Runner at first will be off.
There he goes, the 3-2. Fouled straight back. So we'll have pitch number 7 coming up in just a moment of this AB. Inning started off with an error on Chase Fleming over at first base. Bobby Stewart singled the runner over to third. Naris brought him home on a sac fly, and then Roman Keith flied out on the first pitch he saw. Now the payoff to Smethers. Breaking ball just left upstairs for ball 4. Stone cold take from Smethers. Sees 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, Patero's taking the long walk back to the dugout and has to kind of reverse course. And that was a really, really, really good pitch.
Yeah.
And again, from up here, it looked a little too close to take with 2 strikes in an inning that you're trying to rally a bit. But the right decision ultimately, and it hopefully pays off for the Lightning.
Pitch count is, in fact, a myth, but that's another good at-bat for the Lightning. And this is now the 58th pitch of the outing for Dylan Potero. It's strike 1 here to Macy.
We do have action in Wilmington's bullpen. You're going to have to be the eyes for Goldie Beacon's bullpen here for me.
Does actually look like there's somebody getting loose in Goldie Beacon's pen as well. Not throwing, but stretching. Macy 0 for 1. Flied out in the first pitch of his first at-bat. He pops one up here, but it goes foul and out of play, making an 0-2 count. We never got there in the second inning, so Macy, a .336 hitter with an over 1,000 OPS, awarded second-team All-Conference as a utility player.
Can do some catching as well. I'm sure him and Current throughout the season have been sharing workload behind the dish.
Man, the catching play we have seen in this tournament has been nothing short of spectacular. And just highlighted by that latest caught stealing from Joey Current.
Yeah, it has been great, all 4 catchers that we've seen, and everyone's caught every inning, so.
Both runners take off. The 1-2 down low. The throw into second base gets cut off without a tag, so call it a double steal for Goldie Beacom. Now 2 in scoring position with 2 gone.
And Patero wondering, hey, I think that's strike 3, and
cool.
He's still looking back, and potentially the umpire gets distracted.
It was a pretty close pitch. You know, we've seen that pitch kind of be called both ways a little early in this game. So the double steal, runners on second and third, but a big pitch coming up. One deciding the outcome of this game. The 2-2. Left upstairs, 3-2. Second straight full count that Patero has been in.
Yeah, Patero, and a lot of these counts have started. The Smethers was a 1-2 count, Macy an 0-2 count. So it's putting away hitters has been his struggle. As a freshman, that's something that plagues a lot of younger arms at this level. So see if you can get out of it here with keeping just 1 on the board.
Payoff. Down low, ball 4. That's 4 walks in this game already for Dylan Potero, and it's probably the main reason you see some action in that Wilmington bullpen.
He hasn't been able to locate the zone after he gets 2 strikes. He's been good at getting ahead at least the last couple of batters, but it's the staying ahead in which he has failed to do.
So let's see if he can reverse that trend to Brent Williams. Williams' first pitch ground ball right to the shortstop, Quinn. Goes the short way, and that will retire the side. Goldie Beacom gets 1 across in the frame on only 1 base hit, 1 errors, and they leave the bases loaded. It's a 4-1 ball game. Wilmington out to a 3-run lead, looking to add on with their heart of the order. Leading them off, it'll be the Conference Player of the Year, Tyler Perrung. Already 1 for 1. And 1 at bat in this game. Tyler Perrung has been more productive than my entire high school baseball career. A single, a run scored, and a stolen base. First pitch swinging, high chopper, right to Brent Williams at third. Throw across the diamond in time. So nice start for Kevin Dillon here. 1 pitch, 1 out, and kind of needed for a reliever making his first start.
Yeah, back-to-back innings with 1 pitch, 1 out, and it's now what happens the rest of the way that goes for him. Again, trying to get as much length out of Dillon as possible. You don't have many options in the arm barn for the Lightning, and trying to get the most out of one of your more trusted relievers.
Moves over to Brian Klump. Also been extremely productive in 1 at-bat today, and another first pitch pop-up. This one going to be tough, actually, charging in the left fielder Keith, and he makes the nice running grab. Make it 2 pitches and 2 outs now for Kevin Dillon. We were talking in between innings. There's someone warming up in that bullpen for Goldie Beacom. It's Jay Duncan, but right now you don't need to call his number.
Yeah, just trying to get as much as possible. Fleming probably has. I mean, he's so good, you might not have a red light, but we'll see.
You never want to see a 3-pitch inning, though, just in case. You know, Fleming, just an unbelievable tournament so far, and we can get into it, but even with how good he's been, I'd be surprised, and he does take outside for ball 1. So for Chase Fleming, hitting-wise, he's 8 for 14 in 3 games at the plate. He's now ahead in the count 2-0. By the way, that's a .572 batting average through 3 games. A double, a triple, 6 runs scored, and 5 RBIs, not to mention he threw 6 2/3 innings of 3-run ball only a couple days ago.
It's better than our combined high school careers.
Now quickly ahead in the count 3-0. Carries a 5-game hitting streak into this one. Still looking to extend it. He does already have an RBI on his ledger, so actually make it 6 runs and 6 RBIs for him this tournament. It's a pretty easy walk there on 4 pitches. Extends the inning. First walk given up by Kevin Dillon out of the bullpen today. Hasn't gotten a strikeout as well, so it's mostly been that pitch-to-contact approach for him.
Well, I think is what you need to do, especially, again, the relievers come in and try to overwhelm you with their stuff, and I think he understood the assignment that he needs length, he needs innings, he needs to help his team stay in this game for as long as possible, and trusting his defense, which hasn't been the easiest thing to do this tournament, and something that you love to see, and again, kind of pitching to that contact and letting him get deeper into these games is going to be important.
First pitch into Walmsley is lined into left center field. Racing over is Roman Keith, and he makes the over-the-shoulder grab. As a loud out number 3 to retire the side here in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. It's Goldie Beacom coming back up to the plate, looking to make up a 3-run deficit. move to the fourth inning in our championship rounds of the CACC tournament. It's going to be Joey Current, followed by Trey Mason, and then the top of the order coming up to the plate for Goldie Beacom. Going up against the same man, Dylan Potero, now moving into his fourth inning of work.
And pinch me if I'm dreaming, but I think we got some sun here today.
Look at that. Nothing short of a miracle, especially given what the weather report was showing early. It's 49 degrees, slight drizzle, but mostly partly cloudy skies. 6-mile-per-hour winds, but right now the flag is kind of dead in left center field, so no real direction as of yet. 1-1 into Current. Breaking ball finds the strike zone. It goes to 1-2. Current struck out on 3 pitches in his last AB. That was the third and the most recent strikeout of the game for Potero. We saw Joey Current make a great play in the field only a couple of half innings ago. He's only 4 for 20, now 4 for 21 in this tournament, but picked up 4 RBIs already and a couple of clutch hits as he strikes out for the second time to open up this fourth inning.
Yeah, that's great for Potero. Again, every out that these pitchers can get is super valuable and very important, especially in a game where it could be over and the tournament could be decided after game 1 if Wilmington comes through and wins. And neither of these teams have their number 1 or number 2 pitchers available, so it's really all hands on deck.
First pitch misses to Trey Mason off the outside corner. You wonder how soon both of these coaches are going to dip into their bullpen. Wonder if you will see potential pitcher of the year Scott Borgman for Wilmington at some point in this game. Also, right now he's the shortstop, but Garrett Quinn looked very good closing out the game yesterday. Hard line drive through the left side of the infield. And that's Trey Mason, the 9-hole hitter, getting aboard via the base hit. Now a man on first with 1 gone and back to the top of the order.
Yeah, we mentioned it before. He's been swinging a hot bat over the last week or two, and I think around a 400 average in his last few games to compile that up. So to have that, the 9 spot, plus the good defense he's provided in center field, it's been a blessing for the Lightning, and now the table's set for Barmer, Stewart, and the rest.
Barmer 0 for 2 technically, but it's been productive. Takes a big hack and misses. Swings right over the top of that one. It goes to 0-1 for Barmer. Took a deep fly out to right field on the first pitch of the game, and then he reached on an error his last time out and came around to score. Quick check over on Trey Mason on first. Certainly needed. He's 14 for 15 stolen base attempts this year. He's tall at 6'5", center field. Got a lot of speed. The 0-1. Make it 1-1 now. Top 3 batters in this lineup, 2 times through the order, only 1 combined hit for them. So they've been productive, but looking for maybe a bit more of balls put in play. A ball and a strike, runner on first, 1 out. And boy, this is like the 4th straight check.
I think we've hit at least 200 pickoff attempts here over the course from Thursday on.
There's a lot of rules that D2 has brought over from the latest batch of Major League Baseball rule changes, including the pitch clock. Wouldn't be surprised to see the pickoff limit come soon.
I'd petition for it.
Lefty on lefty matchup. The only one you'll see in this lineup. The 1-2. Big swing and miss from Barmer. Make it 2 strikeouts this inning for Potero, his 5th of the game.
Yeah, I think watching him here for the first time, kind of understand why he really hasn't given a bunch of length. He just hasn't been able to put batters away efficiently. There he does. Finally, we have a lot of full counts, 3-ball counts, and already double the amount of pitches that Dylan has thrown through 3 innings here, and obviously pitched a little bit more than Dylan, but still a stark contrast.
Dylan has pitched more than Dylan.
Yes, that's true.
Of course, Dylan Botero and then Kevin Dillon on the other side. So it brings up Bobby Stewart. By the way, that was pitch number 77 for Botero out on the mound. Stewart, he's 1 for 2. Singled his last time up, stole a bag, his 41st of the season.
Yeah, not only with the pitch count you're looking at, but this is now the third time through the order. We all know the stats and how those can change for hitters, especially coming towards that top and bulk part of the lineup. I wouldn't, if he gets out of here, wouldn't be too surprised to not see him for the 5th. But again, we've been wrong about every prediction we made on pitching changes so far this
no
weekend.
Kidding.
So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that.
It's always fun. It's been about the most unpredictable pitching tournament you can think of. Took a big swing, did Stewart, and you can't blame him in a 2-0 count. But, again, Botero not afraid to throw that breaking ball in hitter-friendly counts and gets one over for a strike there.
Take something off on 2-0. You can tell that Stewart was waiting for fastball, and that probably would have still been flying if he had thrown one.
The 2-1, that time a fastball, fouled straight back. Did look like Stewart was on that pretty well, and it goes to 2-2. Big pitch for Botero here. You'd like to get back into the dugout. Runner on first, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Looked like Stewart saw that fastball there. I'd probably go to the breaking ball here. And he did go back to the fastball, and he gets his 3rd strikeout of the inning. What a job by Dylan Botero as he's fired up walking off the mound. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Still a 4-1 Wilmington lead here in Waterbury.
That's big time, though.
That's huge, yeah.
You're not wrong.
Kevin Dillon going into his 4th inning of work for Goldie Beacom on the mound. He'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8-hole hitters for Wilmington, looking to keep the score right where it's at. Was an efficient last half inning for Kevin Dillon. Only threw 8 pitches. Did give up a walk, but nothing else. First scoreless inning of his outing today. Again, we've been wondering how long his leash is going to go. First pitch pop-up, shallow left field. It's going to find some grass for Cam Trago. A lot of first pitch swingings to start off these innings for the Wildcats. That time it works out in their favor as they get a seeing-eye single.
And why not? You're batting about 350 as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about last inning the pitching to contact, and between breaks, you're like, well, it's a tough ask to do for a team that basically, if you take their slash line as a team, which is 345, 429, 523, that's basically like 2011 Joey Votto that you're pitching against every single time.
Man, I haven't thought about 2011 Joey Votto in quite some time, but you're not wrong. It's some insane numbers as a team for the Wildcats, especially offensively. That's 2 checks in a row over on Cam Trago. Not that it matters, but again, with that pickoff rule, it would be most likely the last one.
I will say, I made a comparison like that in another game I was doing. I compared the team to 1987 Wade Boggs. And I looked at I'm like within 5 percentage points of each stat.
Hey,
I was like, The 1 year he hit 24 home runs was the year that team had 24 home runs, and I was like, this is the best guess of all time.
You don't want to challenge Cody in immaculate grid, I'll tell you that much.
Was heavy on that for a bit.
Chop to the right side, could be 2. From first to second for 1. The relay back to the pitcher. Well, not in time. Good scoop, by the way, it looked like. I wasn't sure if that was the pitcher on first because he looked like a first baseman there, but he made a pretty nice stretch in his scoop, did Kevin Dillon. Either way, it's going to go down as a fielder's choice.
Yeah, no slide by Trago. Actually held up the throw. You see the pump fake by Neris. And there's a meeting. They're actually going to call the runner out because of that.
Wow.
No slide. I did see the umpire
I was
over
wondering
at second
about that.
base. I thought he was just making a late call there, but when I saw the no slide, I said, well, that's kind of a little unwritten. You kind of want to do that there, but that's going to be potentially interference, and I think they're going to stay with that call. So that's a big call.
I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised that Brian August didn't blow a circuit there, because if I was the manager of a team and they called runner's interference on a play like that, I probably would. It might very well be the right call. It, of course, is dependent on the rule book, but you almost never see it. And so, especially on a double play like that. So, yeah, the runner's interference allows them to turn 2. All of a sudden, this inning kind of turns over on its head here. Now Stephen Cash will try to keep it alive. Not the most sure how you score that in a scorebook, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Double play, then.
Yeah, I think double play, RI.
Yeah, that's what I have at least, just to remind myself whether that's the correct acronyms for them. It's what it is, but now Catch has to go with no one on.
Yeah, and first base umpire Thomas Magier said that he went around, so it's going to be an 0-2 count. Let's give you those championship round umpires, by the way. At third, it's David Perry. At first, Thomas Magier, as aforementioned. And behind the plate, calling balls and strikes, it's Mike Herring. Of course, a big moment for the umpires, getting selected to call the most important game in the conference this year. Now the 1-2. Off the outside corner. Good couple of waste pitches there for Kevin Dillon. Again, 2-strike count. That's pretty much where you want to miss, but good discipline as well from Stephen Catch.
Yeah, works it from 0-2 to 2-2. And Dillon cruising a little bit here.
It really seems to have settled down. High chopper, and this should end the inning. Neris, he's been tested today. Throws to first. Nicely scooped out of the dirt by Jake Macy. Boy, he does a full split there at first base and makes the backhanded pick to save an E6 and end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base thanks to the runner's interference double play. Still 4-1 Wilmington in the CACC Tournament Championship. We move to the 5th inning, and it's the heart of the order stepping up to the plate for Goldie Beacom, Jamie Neris Jr., Roman Keith, and Zach Smethers. No hits for the three of them combined in this one, but they have been on base 3 times between the 3 of them. Neris swings at the first pitch, and it's 0-1. He's one of those guys without a hit, but Also without an at-bat, technically. Worked a walk and then hit a sac fly for an RBI. Good take on a ball down in the dirt, and the count goes to 1-1. Still Dylan Potero out there, about to throw pitch number 84 of his outing. Been pretty good through 4 innings of work, only giving up the 1 run on 3 hits, 6 strikeouts to 4 walks for him. Naris swings out of his shoes there. It's 1-2. True freshman pitching in the championship rounds of the conference tournament.
It seems like it always comes down to your talented freshmen towards the end of these things, with your top guys, usually upperclassmen, going in the first couple of days to get you here.
Yeah.
And then it's usually a young buck in one way or the other to come in and make a really big performance.
If not the freshmen, then definitely the depth, but most often those are freshmen. Dylan Potero, I don't think you can really call him a depth piece this year as a first-team all-conference pitcher. He has been nothing short of stellar, but you never know when the moment gets a little bit bigger, and so far he's proven he deserves to be here. Pretty good pitch on a 1-2 count, just misses the outside corner. And yet again, Jamie Naris is putting up a great battle at the plate. This is pitch number 7 coming up next.
Long at-bats, long pitch counts in these at-bats for Potero.
High chopper to the left side. It does stay fair past the third base side. Catch fires across the diamond, not in time. Great hustle that time from Jamie Naris as he just legged that out the entire way. It was going to be a tough play for Steven Catches. Basically had a range into foul territory there.
Yeah, Catch actually kind of bounced across his body, so as he's going towards third base, the ball bounced more towards short, and he had to kind of short arm it to get it. And I do like the throw. We've seen a lot of third basemen on those long throws opt for the bounce throw on 1 or 2 bounces, and it makes it a lot easier actually for the first baseman to scoop. So a good decision, just didn't get the result with Naris' speed.
He's certainly a fast player, and he was really chugging down the line there. So good on him. He picks up the first hit of his day. He's now reached base, or not reached base, but been productive in all 3 of his plate appearances. Now the 1-0 into Roman Keith. Misses outside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. We've already mentioned it, but it's worth repeating. A 4-for-4 game 2 for Roman Keith yesterday, where he scored 5 runs, had 2 RBIs, picked up a double and a triple as well. .2-0 pitch deserves a little more anticipation, says Dylan Potero. He checks on Naris. Yep, on first. Jamie's 17 for 24 this year in stolen bases. The 2-0. Hit high in the air, deep into left field. Ranging back into foul territory is the left fielder Klump, and he makes the running catch all the way at the foul warning track. That's a loud out number 1 of the inning.
Yeah, you can tell it's going foul, and that's deep into the corner. Again, a good amount of foul territory, not quite Oakland Coliseum levels, but still a good amount of foul territory here. And Harris also didn't get the opportunity to tag up. I think if you're the first base coach there, you're reading that off the bat. I could tell it was going foul, and they probably have a mistake there. Could have a guy at second base.
Could be a mistake. I also think Klump deserves a little bit of credit.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
He got that ball in pretty quick. Zach Smethers is the next man up. Swing away at the first pitch there. He's a little frustrated with himself as he slams the bat down high in the infield, and Fleming, the first baseman, handles it for out number 2.
Yeah, that's a big out. One pitch, which we've talked about, that's been helpful for both of these pitchers when they could get it. And 2, that puts 2 out.
Yeah, if you're Tom Riley, it's probably the one thing you didn't want there is a 1-pitch out. I guess the one thing worse would be a 1-pitch ground out, could be 2, but now it's up to Jake Macy to try to scratch across a run. Runner on first with 2 men gone. Macy is 0 for 1. Did reach base via the base on balls back in the 3rd. And it's a high drive deep into left field yet again. This one's going to hang up there, however. Klump under it, makes the catch, And that is the final out here in the 5th. So the leadoff man gets aboard for Goldie Beacom on an infield single, but nothing else after that. And it's still Wilmington cruising out in front, 4-1.
All right, ready to learn about your new favorite player of all time?
The 9-1 and 2 hitters are the ones due up for Wilmington. Garrett Quinn, D'Angelo Ponce, and Tyler Perrung still going against Kevin Dillon, who has settled down really nicely in the last couple of innings or so and looks to continue that momentum here in the 5th.
And you did point out to me between innings that Jay Naris was getting talked to by the coach on the field. Could be about that tag-up situation like we talked about, and I don't think it changes the inning much, but you never know. It's a runner in scoring position with one out. Maybe changes the way you're pitched to, changes the philosophy of the hitter at the plate. And just something to mention.
Yeah, it wasn't a tongue lashing by any means.
Nope.
You know, it seemed like it was actually a pretty friendly conversation. But, yeah, maybe just a little bit of a coaching moment. Also, never know. That might not be what they were talking about, but it's the only thing you and I could come up with at least.
I doubt it was about dinner plans, but you do never know.
So Garrett Quinn in a 1-1 count. He's 0 for 0 today. Put down a sac bunt in his first plate appearance. This time he hits a soft liner to the right side. It actually goes pretty deep and gets over the head of Caden Barmer. One hops off the base of the wall. Hustling into second base with a leadoff double is Garrett Quinn.
Yeah, that's a great piece of hitting by your shortstop, third baseman, closer, doing it all. And he goes the other way, just right over the head of Barmer, who thought he might have had a beat on it and kind of carried a little bit more than we expected. Again, the balls have played very weird. Ones we think that are gone end up being pop-ups to short. Ones that we think are going to be pop-up to short end up going over the head of the right fielder. So it's been an interesting sense, but that's a leadoff double. No outs here.
And back to the top of the order. And despite how good of a game Ponce has had, how good of a tournament Ponce has had, we've seen it be the case all throughout. You're going to still ask your star players to put one down if they need to. Ponce squared around there, but took it for a ball.
Shout out Kevin Dillon, 5th inning.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's working in.
And you said pregame his longest outing of the year was 2 innings, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, yeah. Let me double check it for you, but it hasn't been long. He's been a true reliever all season. 2 innings in his first appearance, 2 innings in his third appearance of the year. 2 2/3 has been the longest against Georgian Court on April the 3rd, and now working in his 5th inning.
Against the number 1 offense in the conference, and he gets Ponce to pop up the bunt that time around. And he's done a really good job. I mean, if you're Tom Riley before the game and you say, hey, I'm going to ask my reliever to start the game, I would tell you, hey, he's going to go basically 5 innings, a 4-run ball. I think you take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we did mention all 5 starters that have started a game for Goldie Beacom have kind of run their well dry here in the first 2 days of the tournament.
This would be a really nice way to potentially end the outing if you're Kevin Dillon. Of course, we never really know. You'd expect so after 5 innings for a reliever, but he's facing the toughest part of the order right here with a runner on second and 1 out. Now it's a 2-0 count into Tyler Perrong, who already has a base hit and a run scored today.
And one of these themes is just keeping your teams in the game and allowing the offense to come back. And how many times have we said we feel like a broken record at this point? But if you get a put up on number 0 here with the runner on second base, that's 3 straight innings you've kind of silenced the bats of Wilmington. It's been pretty good from Dylan to keep his team in it.
Yeah, been more than good. And that was a very good pitch and a 2-0 count to the league's best hitter, at least awarded that way. Twirls a breaking ball for a strike. Went back to the fastball that time around, but missed a little bit low, and it goes to 3-1. Love seeing the different approaches to attacking this talented Wilmington offense. Again, number 1 team in all 3 major slash lines, average, on-base percentage, and slugging. Transitive property makes them the number 1 team in OPS as well. Mm-hmm. It might not be the transitive. I was never good at math.
Seems right.
Seems right.
I'm not going to tell you no.
3-1. Breaking ball. Looked like the home plate umpire, Mike Herring, was going to call it for a strike. You actually see Kevin Dillon raise his arms towards Mike Herring. Right now, Tom Riley is 10 feet out of the dugout just chirping at Mike Herring, getting a little animated over there. And Herring doing a good job of basically ignoring it. Looked like he was about to call strike 2. Instead, it's ball 4. That's a huge call in the course of this game.
Yeah, this is obviously understatement of the year. This is a big game.
Yeah.
So I do like Herring, whether the call is right or not, letting the frustrations get out and not taking it too personal. I mean, every decision being made here today is going to have a visceral reaction from everybody involved, and I think that's good as we have a mound visit after another ball.
And I think it's great on all fronts here in a couple of different ways. One, all-star umpiring crew, experienced umpiring crew, and Mike Herring doing a great job of understanding, like, hey, this is the championship game, doing a great job of just ignoring what could have gone into a heated argument there. And Kevin Dillon, for that matter, in his longest outing of the year, gets a little bit, I would imagine, it's a little bit frustrating getting a call like that. I think this is a great job by Joey Current, just those 2 guys going out there trying to settle him down a bit.
We talked about the only senior that have gotten all this playing time in the position player group, and it's nice that your catcher's that way. We've seen how good he is, and we've seen him kind of a couple of these moments where it's middle of a count just after like 3 straight balls going out there and settling his pitcher down, and you can tell how experienced and how well he knows his pitching staff.
1-0 offering, pretty close, but taken for a ball to Brian Klump, and it goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Runner on first looked like he was about to take off, and now the control's starting to lack a little bit, it seems like. 3-0. For Klump, a .340 hitter this season. Quick check on the runner on second base to no avail. That's Garrett Quinn on second. He got on via the leadoff double. Perrong on that latest walk, he's on first. I think you still got to pitch Brian Klump very carefully here, 3-0. He's one of the guys I would certainly greenlight in this lineup. Here's the offering. That's a pretty good 3-0 pitch. Dots the outside corner. Moves it to 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, last few pitches have been outside the zone, and that one catching the edge as we get time here.
I think an errant ball out of that right field bullpen. It was Jay Duncan warming up earlier for Goldie Beacom over there. And yeah, it's still him tossing in the bullpen right now. Soft liner, might hang up there. It actually once again goes pretty deep, all the way to the warning track goes Roman Keith, but he comes down with it, tagging up from second base and getting into third standing is Roman Quinn. But either way, that's a huge second out for Kevin Dillon there, limiting the damage to a very dangerous hitter.
Yeah, and another one of those balls we saw just out in front of a little bit too much off the end of the bat and cue-shotting it the other way, and much more than a cue shot there. That one traveled quite well, 340-ish feet.
Yeah. Had the sound and the look of a cue shot, but not the distance of one, that's for sure. And does look like Tom Riley is coming out of the dugout here. We'll wait for an official signal from the coach, but if this is the end of Kevin Dillon's performance, what a performance it was in the biggest game of Goldie Beacom's season this season. He was asked to do something he hasn't done in the last 2 years, and he did it very, very well, going up against the number one offense of the in the conference. You have a lot to be proud of, Kevin Dillon. New pitcher coming into this game. 4-1 ball game, 2 on, 2 out here in the fifth. New pitcher stepping up to the mound for the Lightning. It's the 6'1", 155-pound right-handed freshman out of Kennedyville, Maryland, Jay Duncan, coming in for his 10th relief appearance of the year, a 4.38 ERA. And Cody, he's facing a familiar foe.
Yeah, Wilmington were his last two opponents that he's faced over his last 3 appearances. The 28th was the last time he's thrown in a game against Wilmington. Did give up a run there, but just 1 inning. And 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned, and 1 strikeout. And then had a scoreless frame against them on the 22nd. So 2 innings, 1 run. That's not the worst thing in the world. We've seen this team do a lot more damage to a lot of pitchers. So Duncan has the familiarity on his side.
Doesn't get much tougher of an ask, however. 2 on, 2 out, but you're facing some of the most dangerous hitters in all of Division II. Ball in the dirt. Runner takes off for second base when he reads it. That's going to go as a stolen base for Tyler Perrong, his second of this game. I want to double-check my numbers before I say anything, but yeah, that puts him at 40 on the season. Bobby Stewart, of course, had one earlier as well, so he's still in the lead with 41, but this is a fun little stolen base race we got going on. 2 in scoring position, 2 men gone, and a very dangerous count to Chase Fleming. Fleming 0 for 1, does have an RBI and a ground out and worked a walk.
He's done nothing but produce in these moments, and he could really give Wilmington a big boost by adding 2 more with 1 swing here. Haven't scored since the second. Needs something here.
The 2-0. Good-looking breaking ball, but a better take from Fleming that time. It's now 3 balls and a strike, and again, this is one of the batters who I would certainly green light in this lineup. He came into this game 8 for 14 in the tournament. You got to pitch him carefully, 3-0 here. And he does just that, misses outside. You do have a base open to work with, so a walk really isn't the worst thing in the world. The issue is that you got the batting average leader in the conference on deck and Brett Walmsley.
Yeah, I don't hate the decision. I kind of welcome it with Fleming. Hopefully he chases, and now you just got to really attack Walmsley. Like we said, there's no breathing in this lineup at all. There's no size of relief. I mean, Quinn's the top guy you could probably get. He's roped a double in this inning.
And he'll also strike you out on the other end.
Yeah.
So Walmsley steps in, takes a big hack at the first pitch, and fouls it straight back, 0-1. If you believe in due, well, Walmsley's certainly due for one. He's 0 for 2, which almost never happens. He's reached base in all but 3 games this season.
Came into this tournament with a 420 batting average. It's up.
Yeah.
He's raised that.
And check this out. He's only got the 4th highest on-base percentage in the conference. He's officially 500 on the year. He's reaching base 50% of the time. As a catcher.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of.
If you cut those numbers in half from a catcher, you're like, all right, that's good.
That's a good season.
I'll take it. I'll take it, especially if he gives you the defense that he has. And
the fact that there's 4 players in this conference who reach base at a 50% mark is pretty incredible. I mean, it's a feat that you never hear of in baseball. 1-1. Ooh, good pitch in there for a strike at the knees, and it goes to 1-2. You could hear Wilmington's reaction from their dugout along the third base line. Huge pitch, not just for Jay Duncan, but for the Lightning fans all around Wilmington. The 1-2. High pop-up, but it goes out of play, so we'll do the 1-2 at least one more time. What a job this would be by Jay Duncan coming into this game, facing this part of the order, and keeping it at a 4-1 game if he can do it.
Yeah, if he can do it, that's cult hero status if he can do that, and then the Lightning spark something offensively.
The freshmen have showed up and showed out today. Another 1-2. Back up the middle, it's another base hit for Walmsley. 1 run comes home, another is rounding third. 2 runs will score. It's a 2 RBI single for the batting average leader in the conference, Brett Walmsley, and it's now a 6-1 ball game.
I think the definition of good piece of hitting was there, there.
No kidding.
You get in the hole, you just put something up the middle, it splits the 2 athletic middle infielders of Goldie Beacom, and that is just absolute masterclass by Walmsley. He continues to hurt everybody he gets in the box to face.
I love the approach there, right? Took some big swings in the first couple of pitches, but then once it got to 2 strikes, as he takes off on the first pitch, throw down to second base. Now the runner comes in from third, but it doesn't matter as he's out over at second. What a throw once again by Joey Curran, as he has showed off the cannon a couple of times throughout this tournament. But nevertheless, it's another couple of runs scored and a 6-1 Wilmington lead as we head to the 6th. Dylan Potero still out there for Wilmington, now moving into his 6th inning of work. So far, only given up 1 run on 4 base hits. He's also struck out 6 batters in this game, and he's due up against the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for Goldie Beacom.
Yeah, 93 pitches. I think you kind of run him until he gets into a little bit of trouble. Maybe not the first guy to come in, but you have all your bullets. You have a 5-run lead. You can try to preserve this and treat this like a safe situation from here on out. And you still have your pitcher of the year going. We've seen some other guys be warming up who have some incredible statistics. Obviously, your shortstop can come in and throw some gas from a submarine level as well. So
yep,
you can definitely play this as definitely Potero's last inning. And if he gets in any trouble, you don't mind pulling him and treating this like a closer game than it is.
Brent Williams grounds one to the left side on a 2-0 count. Nice backhanded snag by the aforementioned Garrett Quinn, and there's one away in the 6th. For Dylan Potero, certainly a great outing for the freshman, and if you're a Wildcat fan, parent, player, you can start to taste it a little bit. A 5-run lead heading towards the back half of this game, but that's exactly where these teams tend to be their most dangerous, and that has been the case for Goldie Beacom, to say the least.
Yeah, and who can say the freshman, he has 3 more pitches. He'd be the first to go over the century mark. It was 98 pitches for Fleming, 97 for Cortez yesterday, who didn't have his best stuff but did have some strikeouts along with him and kept things at bay enough. And it could be this kid who throws will be the first to throw over 100 for the Wildcats.
2-0 pitch into Joey Current, now becomes a 3-0 count. Current 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today, but can't really say enough about the level of defense he has played behind the plate. He's now caught 2 runners trying to swipe bags on him in this game. He takes a pretty easy walk that time around, ball 4. It's the 5th walk of the game. It's about the one knock you can have on Potero right now.
And that was the 100th pitch. Just 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't even earned.
It's really shocking when you think about how the rest of this tournament has played out pitching-wise. I mean, we've seen guys go to 130-plus pitches. So for Wilmington to only have 1 pitcher goes over 100, that's going to prove meaningful, I have a feeling, either in this game or the next, or next week in the regional rounds. Good mound visit here after 5 balls in a row from Walmsley to Potero, I think.
Yep, literally just about to say that. And again, that's another good veteran catcher in Walmsley, who was the first team mentioned, a junior here. And yeah, like I said, that's that. Like you should mention, and I was about to mention, basically same thing that we just saw in the half inning prior. That's a really good calm you down moment there.
Great minds think alike. Walmsley, Cody, and Max.
I think it's a little generous to put me into the great minds category, but I do appreciate that. I will have to clip that audio and send it to all the people I know.
It's going to be a 1-0 count to Trey Mason here. Runner on first, 1 man gone. Just misses off the outside corner, so make it 6 balls in a row. Did hear some, ball 5, ball 6 chants throughout the course yesterday.
Yeah. Texas A&M stuff.
2-0. I'm much more into Major League Baseball than college baseball, and so I'm really glad you said Texas A&M because I did not know the school off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get into college baseball a lot more. I just couldn't figure it out. It doesn't help it. They really aren't on TV until you get to the conference tournaments around this time of the year, but it is a whole subgenre of excitingness.
I've watched a lot more D2 than D1 this year. It's been a really exciting season in the CACC, and it's coming to a close today.
You and I have had front seats through Post's lens here for a lot of this season, and see how talented this conference is.
3-1 offering. Hit high in the air. Going to go foul and out of play, and the count runs full. Nice job battling back here from Potero. Went behind 3-0 on the 9-hole hitter to Goldie Beacom and found a way to run it full.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2. And again, trying to kind of reverse of how he's been. It's usually get ahead and then fall behind. He fell behind. Now he's trying to get ahead and full count.
Payoff pitch. Down low, ball 4. So
this is where I'd yank him.
Yeah, you start to think that way, especially after back-to-back walks. It's now number 6 in the game. It's an even number of walks to strikeouts. And when you have such a talented bullpen like Brian August does for Wilmington, you just wonder when the call is going to come. As we go back to the top of the order, this is now the 4th time through against Dylan Potero with Caden Barmer at the plate.
Yep, I think Barmer has to be the last at-bat. I mean, you don't want to give the Lightning any ounce that feel like they can come back in this game. It's the lefty-lefty matchup, which I think is why you leave him in here. But even then, this is a guy that's over 100 pitches as a freshman, give up back-to-back walks, and really that neither at plate appearance looked too competitive until the very ends of Mason's, and it's the top of the order in the 4th time through.
This could be 2, however. From second to short for 1, the relay to first. In time, a great scoop by Chase Fleming to close out the inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. And look at Potero heading back to the dugout. What a performance for the freshman. 6 innings of one-run ball in the championship rounds. Bottom half of inning number 6. It's a 6-1 Wilmington lead. And they have all the momentum on their side. I mean, in big part, thanks to Dylan Potero finding a way to turn that inning-ending 4-6-3 double play and then firing the dugout up on his walk back in as well.
Yeah, we mentioned that was probably going to be, probably would have pulled him a batter or two before that, but that's why we haven't coached 22 years like Coach August has, Coach of the Year for a reason. And
that is a great decision by Coach August,
and
seriously.
I think, going the lefty-lefty there, definitely I would have 1,000% sure if the inning continued, that would have been the last batter no matter what. But great time to get the ground ball he needed. Especially
just given the emotional drainage there on that last at-bat. I would imagine that had to have been his last batter face. But what a job by Potero. And as you mentioned, I mean, the whole world was thinking that it was about time for Potero to come out of this game. And that is knowing your players, knowing the matchup. And that was a great call by Brian August to keep him in. It worked out very, very well. So
maybe not even knowing, but just trusting.
Trusting, yeah.
I think that's more the word for it. Again, not to say that Coach August hasn't made the right decisions here, but that seems like a trust your guy type moment.
And we've seen that trust backfire, not just not for Wilmington necessarily, but for pretty much every other team in this tournament. So it really is something else to see it work out in this championship final. Quick ground out. No! Oh, my goodness. Cam Trago hustling the entire way, just legged out a routine ground ball for an infield single. I mean, that is as routine as it gets, and Trago really did beat it by a step.
Yeah, and you can tell that Neris, he's been better in the field, at least no errors on his ledger, but you've seen a couple of weird throws, and you can tell he's thinking about it. You can tell he's short-arming a lot of these throws because he's made a couple fielding errors, a couple throwing errors already, and he knows how that's backfired on him, and it's just kind of praying for him at this point. And single there that could have easily been an out, but he just took his time and tried to make sure he had the great throw, and you can tell it's in his head.
You got to give credit to Cam Trago, who, didn't let up for a millisecond there the entire way. Knew he had a chance, and, man, that is something else because even with a slight, and I mean only a slight double clutch there by Neris, it was still just a very impressive sprint down the first baseline as Zach Frame has now squared around a couple of times, but he's in a 2-0 count.
I've been waiting for that Cam Trago breakout game. I think he's a guy that we could think do some damage. 2 singles now here, and we've seen about a mile worth of foul balls from him as well. He does hit it a long way. He just hasn't been able to square it up.
He's had a really good tournament, but again, just when you're talking about the Cam Trago standard, maybe a little bit below what he's expecting, below his season average and OPS and those type of numbers, but still hit .313 coming into this one.
Yeah, a couple home runs in their comeback win against Bridgeport. Those home runs came after they were already up.
Ground ball, this could be 2. From second to short for 1, relay back to first. Not scooped out of the dirt that time by Jake Macy. Once again, good hustle from Wilmington. Zach Frame made it tough. It's going to go down as a fielder's choice.
And tougher play, but not the best throw from Neris, and could have been the play if scooped out, but you can't assume. So no error there, but you can tell that the shortstop's in his head a little bit on these throws.
Move over to the 8-hole hitter, Stephen Catch. Runner on first, one gone. That runner gets checked on in Zach Frame. Frame, 14 for 18, another one of these two-way players. Catch, hard ground ball up the middle. This one should be two. Second to short, one. Relay. And a perfect scoop out of the dirt by Jake Macy. Boy, these plays at first are anything but easy, but both first basemen are having a really good day over there as well, and it is an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play. No runs a hit, no errors, no men left on base. Still a 5-run deficit. Goldie Beacom coming back up. New pitcher stepping up to the mound for Wilmington in relief of Dylan Potero. It's the 6-foot, 160-pound right-handed freshman out of Newcastle, Delaware. John Grabowski making his 17th appearance. And actually, he's made 8 starts throughout the year. A 6.17 ERA. A 1.56 whip. And through 42 1/3 innings of work for the freshman, he has given up just 15 walks to 45 strikeouts. That's quite impressive here in this conference.
Yeah, he and Potero kind of gone back and forth starting and in the bullpen, and again hasn't gone over 3 innings in quite some bit, but an inning and 2/3 against Bridgeport in their second game. They did give a couple of runs and did give up 4 against Goldie Beacom, that same time that Potero gave up 4 last time on the 28th. So another pitcher who hasn't had the best history against Goldie Beacom, but we obviously have seen didn't really affect Potero in his start.
Yeah, no kidding. So we'll see if Goldie Beacom can get to yet another familiar face. Certainly have the offensive prowess to come back from a 5-run deficit. We have seen crazier things happen in the last 24 hours. And this is a pretty good at-bat put up by Bobby Stewart to lead off this inning. The payoff pitch. Line drive in a left field. That's going to touch down for a base hit. His second base hit of the day for Bobby Stewart. And as we've talked about a couple of times, but it's always bears repeating, anytime he hits a single, there's a good chance it's turning into a double pretty quickly during the next at-bat.
He already has a swipe bag today at third base. The second time he stole third base against Wilmington.
Jamie Neris Jr. has had an uber-productive day at the plate. He's the one in the batter's box right now. He's 1 for 1, a walk, a sac fly, as well as an infield single for him. Hits one high in the air, mile high, shallow right field. Frame under it. That's A nice bounce-back pitch for Grabowski right there.
Yeah, after that long at-bat against Stewart to get one pitch. We've seen that a couple of times for both sides of the pitching matchup here to kind of help settle down them. And, again, 2 freshmen asked to toe the slab here for Wilmington. It's no big ask.
No, in the championship rounds, certainly a big ask. Now it brings up Roman Keith, the only Lightning player to not reach base so far in this one, and that's after he reached base 6 times in yesterday's game. Takes the first pitch for a strike, and it goes to 0-1. We can give you a couple of final lines for each of the starters today. For Kevin Dillon, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. It feels like the line score is worse than his actual performance there for Kevin Dillon. He pitched pretty well in this one. That one goes foul down the right field line. 2 walks and no strikeouts for the Goldie Beacom starter. He's in line for the loss. Meanwhile, how about the performance from the freshman Potero? 6 innings of 1-run ball, and that run wasn't earned. 4 hits. The only knock you can say is 6 walks to 6 strikeouts, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What a performance for the freshman.
And left 9 on base.
Ooh, that one's line, a shallow read. Diving in and not making the grab is Cam Trago. Boy, a tough read for the center fielder who has had such a great fielding tournament. So he kind of lets that one drop in front of him for a base hit.
Yeah, just double clutch for a second. Had that first step right, but then froze for a second, and that's a sinking line drive, and you can't keep Keith off the base pass for much longer as he finally dumps a single.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising to see Keith, especially after the day he had yesterday, be the only person to not reach base, but now he has extended that on-base streak to 13 games for the left fielder. Moves things over, and we got Zach Smethers at the plate now. Smethers 0 for 1, but he's worked a couple of walks. Both of those at-bats, by the way, went 7+ pitches on those walks. Now the 0-1. Quickly 0-2 on the designated hitter. This is a big pitch, a big at-bat for Grabowski here. He's had some good numbers throughout the year, but a familiar team. You want to limit the damage as much as possible. Good protect-me swing that time. It actually might stay in foul territory. Almost playable for Chase Fleming, but he just barely runs out of room, and so Smethers will get a second chance here.
Big at-bat for Grabowski, trying to get 2 outs with the runner in scoring position. Smethers was an RBI machine the last couple of days.
Has a chance to pick up his 10th of the tournament here. Good take on a 2-strike count. Now 1-2. And once again, Zach Smethers in a pretty good at-bat. This will be pitch number 5 coming up.
Yeah, slap the glove, some good bite to the four-seamer.
Chops one foul down the third baseline. Another good protection swing and a 2-strike count. We'll do it again.
Yeah, took something off there, so not only changing the eye level, but changing the clock for Smethers and able to just throw the bat head out there and just missed a down-the-line single, potentially double.
Grabowski from the stretch. The 1-2. Another just great job just putting the bat on the ball there for Smethers. And we've talked about it's kind of refreshing to see that choke-up approach with 2 strikes at this level. And Smethers, I mean, just textbook right now. Yeah. So once again for the 3rd time, the 1-2. And good take. Make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat coming up.
It's almost 25 pitches that Smithers has seen today.
Unbelievable. And this time he gets a base hit after that big battle. A little blooper in center field moves everybody up 90 feet. And the bases are juiced with 1 away for Jake Macy.
And like we were talking about earlier as Coach Og is coming out, about to make this point, you don't want to leave anything up to chance. You don't want to give the Lightning any inclination they can come back and make this one a ball game. You have Borgman warming up. I doubt this is going to take Grabowski out of the lineup now, but I'm sure the leash is very short for his pitchers from here on out.
4 batters faced 18 pitches thrown and 3 singles given up for Grabowski since coming into this game. For what feels like really the first time since the third inning, Goldie Beacom has a great opportunity here. It feels like it has to happen now for the Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, they've left so much meat on the bone. Like we said, 9 left on base. A couple of these innings, he had 2 left on base in the second, 3 up the bases loaded in the third. They did pick up a run in that inning, but have left at least 1 runner on each of the last few innings. And, again, you cannot win games against a team this good by leaving that much on the table.
Missed opportunities, at least up to this point, has been the name of the game. A lot of credit deserves to go to Wilmington for limiting the damage, but it's probably the best opportunity we've seen of this game for Goldie Beacom. Jake Macy at the plate, bases loaded, 1 man gone. Macy, he's 0 for 2, has reached via the walk.
Didn't see when Macy was coming in. I actually had a long conversation with the home plate
umpire,
saw
that.
Umpire Mike Herring, and still continues to do it. I don't know under what the conversation is.
Either way, the first pitch, skied foul down the right field line. There is a bit of a shift going on for Macy, at least in the outfield. Infield is playing pretty much straight up, but the right fielder is playing a good amount shifted towards center. And really with that shift, I mean, Zach Frame barely even tried over in right field. The 0-1. That one misses the zone. And I think we just got a pretty good explanation for
up here.
We were just eavesdropping a little bit on some of the conversations in the press box. And actually, we think Jake Macy might be looking back at the pitch clock so that he doesn't have to make eye contact with the pitcher a la Jose Caballero. Mentioned that yesterday, and Caballero will purposefully not look up until the very 8-second mark.
Yeah. No, that's a good intel.
Yeah. Whoever called that out in the press box, kudos. 2 balls and a strike, bases loaded, 1 out. From the stretch, the pitch. Oh, a good-looking breaking ball just misses. It goes to 3-1. I thought that was strike 2 there.
No one to put him, and you had to throw a pitch in the zone to a guy with a 1,000-plus OPS who was flown out a couple of times and walked.
Nowhere to put him. And he pops it up. Shallow left field. Might find some grass, and it will. It's a base hit for Jake Macy. 2 runs are going to come around and score. And Goldie Beacom cuts it to a 3-run deficit.
You get the pitch you need. You get the jammed pop-up, but just extends past the infield and into the outfield. And now they're going to bring on that bad man. Borgman is going to be coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it looks like that 2 RBI single off the bat of Jake Macy is going to do it. Again, waiting for the official signal, but yep, there it is. Scott Borgman coming out of the pen, the CACC Pitcher of the Year, trying to come in and limit the damage.
6 strikeouts.
Stepping up to the mound, the aforementioned CACC Pitcher of the Year. He stands at 6'1", 210 pounds, the right-hand senior out of Parkton, Maryland. Scott Borgman trying to limit the damage and keep it at a 3-run lead here.
Yeah, 1.71 ERA coming into play today.
Yeah, 1.71, 52 2/3 innings of work. He's facing off against Brent Williams. First pitch misses outside. Borgman, only 17 walks throughout that span. And catch this, 76 strikeouts. Looked a little gettable in the round 2 game against Felician, but ultimately did the job he was asked to do and closed the door.
2 1/3, 5 hits, and a couple of runs given up. But he gives you length.
Behind the count here, 2-0. Big swing and a miss there for Williams. Make it 2 balls and a strike. Again, like that approach. You have some strikes to work with. Take your A swing there in a 2-0 count. Why not? And there he hits a line drive into right field. It's a base hit. They're going to hold the runner up at third, so everybody's going to go station to station here. But a great job by Brent Williams just passing the baton. It's now the 5th hit of this inning for Goldie Beacom, and it moves it over to Joey Current.
Yeah, hard in, hard out, and it goes to the opposite field. And again, like you said, runners move up the extra base. And Joey Current, we've seen him come through clutch offensively and defensively. This is about the right time to do something big.
Only had 4 hits prior to this inning. Did Goldie Beacom. Now they have 5 here in the 7th. It's amazing how baseball can change with one pitching change. Just shows you how good of a performance it was for Dylan Potero, as well as we've now seen a couple of pitchers come in and now look to get out of some tough spots. So Joey Current swings and misses and is behind 0-2. So 0 for 2 today. Couple of strikeouts and a 4-pitch walk to him last time around. Bases loaded, 1 gone, the 0-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to Joey Curran as he goes down for the 3rd time today on strikes. Couldn't be much bigger for Scott Borgman in Wilmington as there's now 2 away.
Here's Mason, the number 9 hitter, but like we've said a couple of times, over 390 on the batting average over the last couple of weeks, and already has a single and a walk.
Looking to just keep the baton moving if you're Goldie Beacom. Try to get it back to the top of the order, and if you can do that, well, you're at least going to score 1 run. Take strike 1 on the outside corner.
Only Barmer hasn't batted.
Ooh, similar pitch that time. Goes the opposite way, and it's now 1-1. As you mentioned, the 8th batter of the frame to come around. The best offensive output we've seen all day from Goldie Beacom. Goldie Beacom needs to win this game if they want any shot at the tournament championship. 1-1 is lined but foul down the right field line. It's going to go to 1-2 now. Of course, if Wilmington wins this game, it's over. And Wilmington wins back-to-back CACC championships. Already the regular season champs. The 1-2. High drive, fairly deep into center field. Trago ranging back, but he's under it. And that will end the inning. Trey Mason gave it a ride. But now that's another 3 runners stranded on base for Goldie Beacom as they still trail by 3 heading to the bottom of the 7th. Everyone all stretched out and ready to go as we move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's still Jay Duncan out there for Goldie Beacom, the true freshman. He's looked pretty good through 1 1/3 innings of work. Did get some help from his field. Was able to get a GDP to end the last inning. And then, of course, Joey Curran caught a runner stealing to end the inning before that. He'll face off against 9-1-2 here for Wilmington. Garrett Quinn takes ball 1 off the outside corner. He's 1 for 1 today with a sac bunt and a double, and later scored a run. Pretty similar spot there. And you could see Garrett Quinn's reaction, not in love with the call. Either way, it's a ball and a strike. That time the breaking ball misses, 2-1.
And it's been decently efficient, even though the 6 runs on the board. It's just a third at-bat for Quinn as we're going to pull it over in here in the 7th. So not a guarantee that a lot of these guys get a 4th at-bat. So it's been pretty efficient despite the 6 runs on the board.
Quinn fouls it off, evens up the count at 2-2. You know, in the last time out, Garrett Quinn had his 4-game hit streak snap, but he's already starting up a new one. And even with the 0-4 at the plate, came into this game 6 for 15. He's now 7 for 16 in this tournament. Make it 7 for 17 as he strikes out swinging at that one. Out number 1 in the 7th. That's the first strikeout of the game for Jay Duncan, who's looked really solid in relief.
Yeah, they need that. Again, they don't have many options to go to with so many of their guys already burnt out. This is the 11th different guy to come in to pitch.
Wow.
Since the tournament started. Second today, obviously, but they had to use a good amount of them yesterday after using only 3 on day 1.
Look at the pitch from Duncan there. 4th time through to the top of the order we go. And that was a nice breaking ball that just found its way back over the inside corner. D'Angelo Ponce jumped out of the way of it, and it's ruled strike 1. That time, just left a bit outside, and it goes to 1-1. Ponce so far, he's 1 for 2. Ripped an RBI single. Actually, 1 for 3. Ripped an RBI single back in the 2nd. Popped up a bunt, grounded out. He's also been caught stealing today. A rare caught stealing for him, the 3rd time it's happened this season.
I love that the stolen base has played a prominent role in at least this conference. Love stolen bases. I'm glad it's kind of making its comeback here. And talking about the math and everything, but a couple of guys with 40 in this game, a couple of guys with 20-plus in this game.
Fouled that one off, did Ponce? And, yeah, you're totally right. We got Stewart with 41. Perung just stole his 40th earlier in this game. Ponce, I mean, not necessarily at that 40 number, but now 19 for 22. It's nothing to sneeze at.
It's an exciting part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad it's coming back. You know, as a Sox fan, I also grew up with Jacoby Ellsbury stealing 70 and 50 a year. You had the Jose Reyeses, the Juan Pierres. You had guys that were stealing bags all over the place, and all of a sudden, if you got 25 in a year, you were crowned the champion.
You would bring up Jacoby Ellsbury.
I would. That secret agent, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Of course, as a Yankees fan here, Jacoby Ellsbury has a very different reputation amongst us than he does Sox fans. It's a good piece of hitting right there for D'Angelo Ponce as he carries his patient approach and works it into a walk. First walk given up. Actually, second walk given up by Duncan since coming into this game. We can also give you the final line on the reliever, but before that...
Yeah, we have a pinch runner here.
Pinch runner coming into this game. We were just talking about the speed for D'Angelo Ponce. He was caught stealing earlier, but he's got some legs over there, so kind of surprised to see that either way.
Yeah, it's also interesting because the new player in, Ben Cordry, he came in as a defensive guy when Quinn shifted to pitching. So if you do need to use that, now you don't really have another guy. You probably have another guy somewhere, but you have to give up your DH to move him over.
Yeah,
so it'd be interesting how they play that, or if they need to play that. But in case that needs to happen.
So Ben Cordry comes in as the pinch runner for Ponce. Ponce's day is done. He finishes 1 for 3, RBI single and a walk. See if Cordry stays in on the field. If you saw that last pitch, you would have saw that Jay Duncan really wanted that strike call. 1-0, hit back up the middle. Nice snag by the shortstop Neris. On to second for the out. What a play by Jamie Neris Jr.
Yeah, like you said, the glove's been good, and it seems like for a guy with his athleticism, the harder ones are actually the easier ones, and that is an almost impossible get, not only to keep that ball from going in the outfield, but then to get up and make the toss over to second base in enough time. Great job by Stewart having it all the way, and just a really incredible play defensively. Goldie Beacom still 0 errors on the board.
Yeah. One of the keys to the game and then some for the Lightning. And though it hasn't given them the lead, it's kept them in this game, that's for sure. Prevents also Tyler Perrung from picking up another multi-hit game. It's now up to Brian Klump to try to extend the inning with a runner on first and 2 men gone. And Jay Duncan looking to get through his third scoreless inning of work. First one misses upstairs, so can give you the final line on Wilmington reliever John Grabowski. Only won a third of an inning in this one. Gave up 4 hits and 2 earned runs. No walks and no strikeouts for him. It's now off to Scott Borgman on the other side, top half of the 8th inning, but still a long way to go until we get there. Klump 1 for 3, ripped a triple in his first at-bat of the game. Came around to score, also brought in an RBI there. Now on a 3-0 count. Something else I've noticed about Brian Klump, something that's been fun to watch, is he's gone the opposite way all 3 times he's come up to the plate. That triple was ripped into left field as well, so good approach, especially out of the left-handed batter's box. Yes. See a lot of those lefties try to yank it. Patient at bat that time around as he works the 4-pitch walk. That is the third one that Duncan has given up so far today.
Again, kind of getting in the territory where you can't really afford to give up another run here to Wilmington, so we'll see how aggressively they play the bullpen. Like we've mentioned, not really many options left, unless you want to really tax an arm you have that have already probably gone and have already been taxed through so far, but you really have to bear down and not let anything else get across.
Does look like we're going to get a mound visit here from the pitching coach, Matt Trait. Inning started off with a strikeout to Garrett Quinn. It was a quick out number 1, but following that up, it was a walk to Ponce. He's now being pinch run for Cordry he was being pinch run for. Eventually got called out on a fielder's choice, and then another walk to Brian Klump. So couple of free passes here. Again, freshman, maybe feeling a bit of the fatigue. This is now his 3rd inning, his 2nd full inning of work. Everyone's going to go back to their respective position, and it's going to bring Chase Fleming up to the plate. No base hits yet for Fleming in this one, but he's reached base a couple of times via the free pass, and it's 0 for 1 in this game in general.
And that 1 is driven in a run.
Yep. First pitch upstairs, 1-0. It's now 6 in a row fired out of the hand of Jay Duncan. So just looking to get some of that control back. Ooh, that one looked pretty good, but left a bit upstairs.
Still waiting on that big Fleming hit that we kind of feel in our bones might be coming at some point, and this might be the time for him.
It's a good hitter's count here, the 2-0. Patient approach yet again, 3-0. And Duncan in danger of giving up back-to-back 4-pitch walks here. For Duncan, it really wasn't much of an issue coming into this game. Only 12 1/3 innings of work, but 4 walks to 4 strikeouts for him. And he does.
He's doubled his season total here in this appearance.
And loads the bases, all of which have come on a free pass. Certainly not what you want to see. If you're a Goldie Beacom fan or if you're a pitching coach on the Goldie Beacom staff. And it does look like Tom Riley is going to make his way out of the dugout, and that is going to do it for Jay Duncan. It was a pretty good outing, especially given the situation, but definitely ran into some trouble on a couple of walks here in the 7th. And he's responsible for all 3 runners on base when we get back. Stepping up to the mound, trying to get out of a jam of all jams. It's the 6'2", 205-pound sophomore out of Newmarket, Maryland, Britton Wilderson. In his 15th appearance, got a 7.54 ERA, 10 walks to 15 strikeouts, and 22 2/3 innings of work for the sophomore.
Went against Holy Family, gave up 2 runs, none earned, 2 walks, and an inning thrown. Has gone 3 is his max.
So the 0-1 in, and Brett Walmsley is a line drive and a base hit into left field. Scoring easily is Tyler Perrung. They hold another runner up at third, so everyone goes station to station. It's an RBI single for Brett Walmsley, and it's back to a 4-run Wilmington lead.
Yeah, Walmsley wasting no time, got the pitch he wanted and served it into left field. They throw the brakes on everywhere else, and you're still in that jam, and a lot of pressure still on Wilderson.
So already capitalizing are the Wildcats and getting a little more insurance. Now there's a line drive into center field, but it hangs up there way too long for Trey Mason. It goes over his head. Boy, Mason way too casual with that one, as all 3 runs are going to come around and score on the RBI triple by Cam Trago.
We've mentioned it. We were waiting for that big Trago hit, and he could have just delivered the dagger. That ball caught an airstream somewhere in center field and kept rising over Mason's glove, who's usually a sure-handed fielder out there. What a hit and what a rally here to throw up 4 for the Wildcats.
Wasn't the greatest read for Mason in center, and that was all part of, as well as the drift, just that ball soaring over his head. I mean, that was a rocket off the bat of Cam Trago. He hustled the entire way, and all of a sudden, this is broken wide open. A 7-run lead for the Wildcats.
I've been seeing him hit baseballs hard, just nothing fair.
There's another line drive into right center field, and this one's got extra bases written all over it. Zach Frame joins the hit party here for Wilmington. Another run comes home to score, and it's an 11-3 ball game. make it 3 base hits in a row for the Wildcats.
Yeah, got a feel for Wilderson here. Comes in immediately, single, triple, double, and your 3-run lead has now expanded to 8 runs, and he still has to go up there and execute those pitches. I'm sure there's 1,000 thoughts running through his head, and he'd love to be anywhere else but here, but he has to man up and finish up this inning.
So it's now going to be up to Stephen CACC to try to continue the inning, the 9th batter of the frame to step into the batter's box. CACC 1 for 3, does have an RBI already on his ledger as well as a run scored. Takes a big hack and a miss at that one. So Wilderson comes in relief of Duncan. And between the two of them, Wilmington has found a way to scratch across 5 runs here in the 7th. CACC behind 1 and 2. You have to keep the score where it's at, it feels like, if you're Goldie Beacom. And he does. Big swing and a miss to end the inning there for Wilderson, but not before the damage gets done for the Wildcats. 5 runs in the inning, and they take an 8-run lead. Final 6 outs to play with for Goldie Beacom as we move to the 8th inning. And they got a big deficit to make up all of a sudden. 8 runs they trail by, 11-3, to their crosstown rivals in the Wilmington Wildcats. Still Scott Borgman out there for Wilmington. Faced 3 batters in the last half frame, what felt like multiple months ago. But he'll be due up against the top of the order here, starting with Caden Barmer.
5 runs on just 3 hits for Wilmington, and now up to 11.
And in the top of the 7th, last time we saw Goldie Beacom up to bat, it was pretty much the polar opposite. 2 runs on 5 hits. Goldie Beacom has stranded 12 runners on base throughout the course of this game. Safe to say they've had their opportunities. 2-1 pitch, left upstairs, 3-1. And at this point, if you're Goldie Beacom or if you're Tom Ryan and you're trailing by 8 runs, you just have to have an one at bat at a time approach. Caden Barmer doing pretty good so far with that. He was on that fastball, but it runs full nevertheless as he fouls it straight back.
Got to start somewhere. That'd be a nice place to start with Barner on first base. Reached on an error, came around to score in the 3rd, and that's about really been his day.
Yeah, no hits for him as of yet. Remember, gave a long fly ball a ride in the first pitch of the game, but just died at the warning track in right field, and does reach base for the 2nd time here. Good at bat. Leadoff walk for Barmer. It's the first walk given up by Borgman since he's entered the game. He's now given up 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. This is the battle that everyone came to see. Borgman against Bobby Stewart in this one. One of the top players with the bat in his hand in the conference. One of the top pitchers, if not the top pitcher in the conference. Runner on first, nobody gone. First pitch finds the outside corner, and it goes to 0-1. Stewart, he's 2 for 4 in this game, a couple of strikeouts and a couple of singles. He's also scored and stolen a bag.
We know how he has some power in that bat, too.
Fouls it off, and it goes to 0-2 on him.
He's shown off in this tournament, having some long fly balls, a triple I believe he's had. It's a big swings from him.
At 10 for 26 entering the game today over the course of the conference tournament. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Good-looking pitch from Borgman there as he gets Stewart to chase that one in the dirt. And after the leadoff walk, Borgman gets Stewart on 3 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, pitcher of the year for a reason. And Borgman, his last few appearances, out of relief, 6 strikeouts and 2 1/3 against Relation earlier. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, 6 strikeouts in 4 2/3, 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3. He just punches you out and stays in the game for so long. It's basically an ace pitcher coming out of the bullpen.
He could definitely be a starter with those numbers. I mean, long outings. A lot of strikeouts, very efficient. It's Barmer on first, 1 man gone, and Jamie Neris Jr. at the plate. Takes the pitch outside, gave a little Soto shuffle impression there.
Borgman's just the queen piece in chess. It can do everything. It's the most valuable piece you have on your board. And if you set everything up right, that can do a lot of damage to the opposite team.
Wouldn't be surprised if Borgman tries to get the remaining final 5 outs of this game for Wilmington University, of course. If everything still holds, Wilmington, that'll be your back-to-back CACC tournament championships. If Goldie Beacom can pull off a miracle, well, we'll have game 2 later this afternoon. Runner goes, swing and a miss for strike 2. Actually, that was foul-tipped, it seemed like. Jamie Neris just barely got a piece of it. And Caden Barmer will have to go back to first.
Much less important note, Borgman did come in a save situation, so even though it's 11-3, he'd pick up a save if he goes out the rest of the way.
True.
Should be his 7th if he can do that.
A wealth of riches for Brian August, especially when you talk about Garrett Quinn. He also has 5 saves this year. It's a chopped back up the middle. There's Garrett Quinn getting the unassisted double play, and Borgman's now fired up going back to the dugout. Garrett Quinn right on cue, fielding it himself, stepping on the bag himself, and ending the inning himself. No runs across for Goldie Beacom. It's still 11-3 Wilmington. Last chance, well, possibly the last chance to add some insurance runs onto their total for Wilmington before the top of the 9th. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2-hole hitters coming up for the Wildcats, going up against the same pitcher in Wilderson. Wilderson struggled a little bit. First 3 batters he faced, gave up 3 hits. And Garrett Quinn picks up right where he left off, picking up a hit, and it should be extra bases as it rolls all the way down the line. Just stops in front of the warning track. And one pitch into this 8th inning, Garrett Quinn, who just made a fine play in the field, has himself a leadoff double.
Yeah, like we said, the outfield grass is a little bit wet, and it's slowing a lot of those punched balls into the outfield down, and Quinn didn't really help him. He was going on a trajectory to cut it off, but it just stopped and had a reverse course and pick it up with Quinn easily at second base.
Looks like this is going to be the night for Wilderson. This is Tom Riley heading out there, the head coach of Goldie Beacom. And, yep, they signaled towards the bullpen. I almost said the dugout, as Wilderson takes a walk towards the dugout, and we'll be back with a new pitcher for Goldie Beacom. What's going on here?
The bright neon.
New pitcher stepping up to the mound for Goldie Beacom. It's the 6'1", 205-pound southpaw out of Dallas, Pennsylvania. Ty Federici toeing the rubber. He's got 11 appearances. This is his 12th. As there's a ground ball on the first try from the leadoff hitter, Ben Cordry. And it's 1 pitch, 1 out for Federici to begin his appearance. He's got a 2.57 ERA, 7 and now 1/3 innings of work. He's given up 11 walks to 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, saw Tommy Federici yesterday to close things out for the Lightning, and Ty, last time he towed the slab was on the 26th of April against Post. He gave up a run and 2 walks, and each of his 2 earned runs have come in his last 2 appearances.
First pitch misses upstairs to Tyler Perring, and the count goes to 1-0. Perring, he's 1 for 3 in this game, but he's reached base 3 separate times, stolen the bag, and he's scored 3 separate times. Pitch misses downstairs. Garrett Quinn really did not have a good read on it. Wasn't sure if maybe Federici accidentally got in the way of his line of sight there, but either way, he didn't move up to third.
Yeah, that kind of looked like Perring might have kind of gesture that might have hit him on the foot, so he didn't know if he was able to advance as well. I think something that probably, it was near the area, so something that Quinn could have been thinking.
High fly ball right field, ranging over there. Caden Barmer ranging into foul territory, and he runs out of room. Going to be a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Tyler Perring, the CACC Conference Player of the Year. Only a couple outs away from potentially winning back-to-back CACC tournament championships. 1-1. Misses upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Actually, 3-1, I believe. Excuse me. And it was. So that's going to be ball 4, and Tyler Perring reaches base for the 4th time today. It's the first walk given up by Federici.
Missed some player of the year type stuff.
No
from
kidding.
him.
Entered today 7 for 17 throughout this tournament. Had 4 runs and 5 ribbies. Now has 7 runs over the last 6 games. First pitch in to Brian Klump, finds the strike zone. Klump 1 for 3, a walk, a triple, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. Lefty on lefty matchup this time around. And well, before the 0-1, we'll have a check on second. Jamie Neris almost got tabletopped there by Garrett Quinn. Goldie Beacom comes back. In the top half of the 9th inning, it'll be Roman Keith, Zach Smethers, and Jake Macy due up for the Lightning. Got to assume it'll still be Borgman going out there as both the runners take off and the line drive goes in and out of the glove of Bobby Stewart. Would have been an inning-ending double play. Instead, it's another run on Wilmington's ledger. It's now a 12-3 game.
No breaks at all here for the Lightning.
Call it an E4 that time around. One of the first times we've said Bobby Stewart's name in that respect. It's been pretty solid all around the diamond throughout this tournament, but just a bit of a mental lapse there. Both the runners were going, by the way, before the pitch, so it would have really easily been a line out, maybe even an unassisted double play. But instead, job just gets that much harder as Chase Fleming steps up to the plate.
Credit to Quinn, just kept on motoring around, realized that ball wasn't caught, and realized that, hey, he really had no chance of getting back to second base anyway, so might as well just keep it going.
Yeah. A little bit of a makeup for not advancing to third on what could have been a wild pitch earlier. Fleming so far today, he's 0 for 1, but you can't complain. If you're a Wilmington fan, he's reached base 3 times, all via the walk. Also got an RBI and a run. Looked like a pretty good breaking ball that time for Federici, but doesn't get the call. So 2 balls and a strike to one of the most dangerous hitters and pitchers, for that matter, in the conference. Gets the call that time, does Federici, 2-2. Give the final line on Wilderson. Pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. No walks to 2 strikeouts. Popped up in the air, foul territory, first base side. Ranging in, now back is Jake Macy, and he makes the catch in foul territory for the second out of this inning. Boy, a long inning here for Wilmington. Exactly what the doctor ordered. You know, not that your lead was in too much jeopardy here, but you never know in these tournament games. We've seen some crazy things happen, so you always want to get as much insurance as possible, and they've done that.
Yeah, we've seen Dean throw up 7 runs in an inning, 8 runs in an inning, so it's still not out of the woods yet.
Well, this might bring Goldie Beacom up to bat, and it will. A 5 unassisted putout for Brett Walmsley ends the inning. But another run on the board for Wilmington. No hits, or 1 hit, an error, and 2 men left on the base pass. It's 12-3 and last licks for Goldie Beacom if they want to keep their championship hopes alive. Goldie Beacom down to their final 3 outs. If they want to keep their conference championship hopes alive, they'll have a big deficit to make up as they trail 12-3 in this one. Scott Boardman still out there. He'll be due up against Roman Keith, Zach Smethers, and Jake Macy. But as we get into this inning, I want to give a special shout-out to everyone who has been unbelievable back here in the press box throughout this tournament. Our Athletics Communications Director, Michael Vesci, Michael Bronson, Kristen Brown, Leah Lockwood, Jarrett Michaels, and everyone else who has helped out here as this post-university staff has done an all-star job throughout some very long days. And hope you're enjoying the games with us. Of course, for Cody Shalafu to my right, I'm Max Stapleton. We have been just thrilled to be taking you through all of this action throughout the last couple of days. All right, Roman Keith at the plate. He's 1 for 4 in this ball game. Has struck out once, singled and scored. We've seen crazier things happen than a 9-run comeback.
They have splashed 9 hits around to the ball game. They've left a lot on base. They've gotten guys on base. All it takes is one hot inning. And, again, we've seen these games spiral and snowball at times. We've seen a couple of teams put up really crooked numbers. And we need to be the most crooked number of all time here.
It would be one crazy story if Goldie Beacom found a way to do it. And, you just got to take it at bat by at bat. You're going up against the pitcher of the year in the conference, and Scott Borgman, who has looked gettable at times throughout this tournament, but overall he's been as advertised. 3-1, skied high in the air, shallow right field. Going to be a really tough play for the first baseman, and he makes the backhanded over-the-shoulder grab, does Chase Fleming. What a play by Chase Fleming. So normally when people make that over-the-shoulder grab, they look behind them like they're receiving a football. No, Chase Fleming kind of did a 360 and twisted his neck in a weird way and somehow came down with the ball there.
Done it with the glove now, done it with the bat, and done it with the arm. There's nothing that this kid cannot do, and 2 outs closer.
Pretty unbelievable stuff from Chase Fleming, who very possibly could be the tournament MVP, which, again, if this 9-run lead holds, that will all be announced in the coming moments. Next offering in a strike. Count goes to 1-1 on Zach Smethers. Smethers 1 for 2, a couple of walks, a single. He also popped out once. Pops it up this time around, but it goes out of play, and it's now 1-2. It's Jake Macy on deck, and then Brent Williams, should we get there, for Goldie Beacom. Brian August as a head coach looking for his 11th conference tournament championship. Back-to-back for Wilmington, if they can close it out. The most in CACC history.
Good chance to host a regional round if they can clinch it, just like last year as well.
The 2-2 pitch in there for a called strike 3. And Wilmington is 1 out away. Third strikeout of the game for Borgman. That was a good-looking breaking ball.
Yeah, absolutely froze Smethers, and you never want to leave your last at-bat potentially with the bat on your shoulders, but nothing you could really do. Clearly looking heat and just broke one off on him.
Cross-town rivalry. Only 18 minutes apart are these two schools. And take a look at Jake Macy right there. I believe stealing a strike, or at least getting a pitch count, or a pitch clock, I should say, warning, because he was waiting, he was looking at the clock, and umpire told Scott Boardman, you got to make eye contact. Macy's 1 for 3. First pitch, a big swing and a miss. Last at bat for him, it was a couple of RBIs on his single. Drove in the 2 most recent runs of the game for Goldie Beacom. The 0-1. Line into center field, and that is going to do it. Wilmington are your back-to-back CACC tournament champions. Congratulations to the Wilmington University Wildcats. Just dominance throughout the course of this tournament. A perfect 5-0 and back-to-back champions. Nothing sweeter than that.
Yeah, what a ride it's been. And again, it wasn't exactly, hey, one seed, we're going to win game 1 by a bunch, game 2 by a bunch, game 3 by a bunch. This is their farthest away game that we've seen in terms of score. And even then, it didn't really break out until later in the game. And they had to claw their way. They had the lead and had to keep it in game 1, clawed their way back against this Lightning team yesterday, and then really put the foot down, pedal to the metal. Ended up, doing exactly what they had to do, be the number 1 seed, get the job done. They were lined up the best of any team here coming in, is given the perks of doing what they needed to do, and they're going to reap the benefits.
We're getting all set up here in Waterbury and at Municipal Stadium for our postseason tournament awards, which will be coming up just momentarily. Where do you even start to try to recap this game in terms of an elimination game? I think the best place to start is what a performance from the true freshman starter today for Wilmington, Dylan Potero. 6 innings, 1 run given up, but none of them earned.
Yeah, it was a big moment, and you're kind of looking at this game. It was 6-1 when he exited the game, and he came in with the bases loaded, and they let him go an extra batter. And that was a double play that got him out of the inning. That easily could have been a 3-6, 6-4 ball game when he came out, and we're talking about maybe a whole different outcome here. But for him to really hunker down and get that ground ball he needed, just 4 hits, 1 run, no earned, 6 walks was the one, like we said, little one thing you can kind of look at him and knock him on. But there's a freshman coming in, almost 110 pitches to clinch things out. It seems like every championship team has one of these stories, and Potero is going to be the one for the Wildcats.
Potero certainly is one of the highlights, if not the highlight for the Wildcats in this championship final. And Wilmington goes a perfect 5-0 throughout the conference tournament to secure their second tournament championship in as many years. We got postseason awards and player interviews to go through next, so do not go anywhere. So you've been watching the CACC Network in the final round of the CACC tournament.
From Goldie Beacom, outfielder number 20, Roman Keith. From Goldie Beacom, infielder number 21, Zach Smethers. From Wilmington, utility player number 20, Chase Fleming. From Wilmington, catcher number 23, Brett Walmsley. From Wilmington, infielder number 10, Tyler Perung. From Wilmington, outfielder number 4, D'Angelo Ponce. From Wilmington, left-handed pitcher number 32, Dylan Potero. Now we would like to announce the most valuable player of this year's championship from Wilmington University, utility player number 20, Chase Fleming. Let's give a round of applause to this year's MVP and all members of the all-tournament team. And now it's time to present the Wildcats with the CACC Championship Trophy and banner as Wilmington University takes its place in CACC history. Congratulations, head coach Brian August and the Wilmington University Wildcats.
Welcome back to the CACC tournament final round. I'm here with back-to-back champion head coach Brian August. I guess my first question for you, 11 tournament championships, back-to-back years. Does it get old?
No, absolutely not. But every year is different. I can tell you that. And this group, they were hungry from day one, and they just kept playing. I mean, we lost our best player this year, Brandon Grubb.
Might not feel great now, but certainly a nice moment to have with the team who clearly loves you so much. And I want to ask you about that. Some of the emotion we saw at the end of this game, doesn't matter if it was a 12-3 game. It doesn't matter if you guys were down or up. It was intense, and you could tell that the players really wanted this win.
They did. I mean, we have a lot of good leadership and a lot of good seniors, and winning a championship is winning a championship at any level. So, we just wanted to get another championship for the program and continue playing next week.
Yeah, and next week you guys will certainly be in the regional tournament now. It's pretty certain before this game heading in, but the job's certainly not finished. How do you reset now in the coming week?
listen, our goal from day one was to make the NCAA tournament, and I always tell them there's two ways you make it: win the conference tournament, or obviously have a good season, play a good schedule, and get an at-large. And we knew what we think if we won 1 or 2 games in this tournament, we would have probably been in, but obviously solidified it by winning the championship. I told them before the game, I said, we're probably playing next Thursday. Do you guys want to also add another conference championship or what? And that's just how I approached it. So, and they came out and played well. We got great pitching from our freshmen and a lot of big hits from our guys.
Last question for you, Coach. A player who certainly performed well all throughout this tournament was the MVP, Chase Fleming. He's done this all season, but it was really quite amazing for us who got to see him for the first time do it on the mound and in the batter's box. Just what can you say about the tournament MVP and what he's done for you all season?
Well, I mean, one thing is there's a lot of schools that don't take dual players, and we take dual players. We have a lot of dual players on this team, and I've known Chase for a long time. I've coached him way back when, and that was one of the reasons he picked us, because we gave him an opportunity to hit and pitch, and we've been challenging him. He is a really good pitcher, and he hasn't had great years. The first 2 years he's been swinging it for us, but this year we said, yo, you got to step up and really be a big-time piece of this on the mound, and he did both for us. So had a great outing against Felician. He kind of ran out of gas, but then he came back and just swung the bat really well for us, and I'm just proud of him. He's a great kid. He works hard, and all these boys are good kids, and we're just happy to get another one.
Coach, congratulations. Thank you so much for the time. 11-time tournament champion, Coach Brian August. And we'll be back with Chase Fleming in just a quick moment. Welcome back to the CACC Tournament Championship. I'm joined by our tournament MVP here, Chase Fleming, who, as we talked about yesterday, did it on both sides of the diamond. But Chase, now the second tournament championship you guys have won in back-to-back years. Does it get old? How good does it feel?
Feels amazing. I mean, I grew up with half these kids on my team, so it feels amazing to be out here with my family and my brothers and just getting the dub. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm
a little bit speechless, and that's okay. And that's all right, given the moment. Pretty unbelievable. We just got finished talking with Brian August, and I asked him about you, and he said, actually gave us some pretty good insight that, you know, it might have been a struggle on the mound the last couple of years, but this year you've been dominant, and he's trusted you from day one. But not only that, he said he was so proud of you because you picked Wilmington because they gave you the opportunity to both pitch and hit. So can you talk a bit about that and how it's paid off this year for you?
I mean, out of high school I had other schools that just wanted me as a pitcher, and I just knew out of high school that I wanted to do both. And I played with Coach Aug since I was 14, 15 years old, so I just knew like he was going to give me the best opportunity to come into college and be a two-way. So that's why I picked it here, and I love it. I'm so thankful I picked this school. We'll
let you get back and celebrate, but thank you so much. That's our tournament MVP, Chase Fleming. We're actually going to be back with our CACC Player of the Year next, Tyler Perron. Welcome back to the CACC Tournament Championship. I'm here with our winning pitcher today, the true freshman, Dylan Potero. We were stunned up in the press box, kind of all game. No earned runs, 6 innings pitched. Have you pitched in a bigger game up in your career up to this point? And what was the pressure like heading into this start for you?
No, I've never pitched in a bigger game as today. And, I didn't really have pressure because I know my team had my back the whole time. Offense picked me up right off the start. First 2 innings they scored, and I was just relieved, and I battled up there.
Yeah, talk about those first 2 innings, actually, because we made a pretty big deal out of it in the press box as well. What a difference it makes when you're pitching with a 4-run lead like that right off the bat. Does it help you just settle in a little bit on the mound?
Yeah, I feel like, all the pressure's off. Just got to pound the zone, let my defense work, and that's what I did. Yep.
Last question for you. I know this is your first tournament championship, but back-to-back ones here. Can you feel how special this is for Wilmington and just how big of a feat it is for this program in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's the standard here. It's great. We got a great team, and it's just awesome to be out here and winning big things like this.
It's a high standard to live up to, but you guys did it yet again. Congratulations. I'll let you go back and celebrate. Thank you. And now we'll be back with Tyler Perrung in just a quick moment. Good. And we're here with our final player of our post-game interviews, but certainly not the least, Tyler Perrung, our CACC Player of the Year. First off, let me just ask you, what was it like to receive that honor, really, right before getting here in Waterbury?
Oh, it was really special. I mean, this league is full of amazing hitters. I'm not going to. It kind of caught me by surprise, honestly, because I'm not a guy who's always looking at my own stats. I'm looking at other guys, and guys like Eric Diaz, third baseman for Jefferson, had some amazing years. So to get that award, knowing some of the players in this conference, it's really special.
Let's talk about the team that is just amazingly hyped up all throughout this game, right? And you were one of them on the bench, hyping your guys up when you were on the base pass. Whether you were up 12-3, whether you were down 8 runs in round 1, it felt like the momentum never changed. As we can see right now, talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Diego Zerpa in there. He's banging on the water cooler, getting everyone going, and it honestly starts at practice. Like, we got guys like Ant Montague showing up every day, smiling, having fun, and that's where it all starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, back-to-back tournament championships for you. Do you feel just how significant of an accomplishment this really is, and just how insane it is?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, we put in the work, and it happened, so it's awesome. And got to keep it going. Got regionals next weekend. Just see how long this thing will go.
Well, celebrate for now. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way. That's actually going to do it for our CACC tournament coverage here in Waterbury, Connecticut. Once again, a huge shout-out and thank you to Michael Vesey, Jarrett Michaels, Kristen Brown, Michael Bronson, and